Welcome to Around the Mage Table, the podcast for the rest of us. This is episode 40, and we are having a little more consistency around our hosts. So I'm going to start by saying, good evening, Ioski. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. Lithian, what are you drinking tonight?
Penelope Toasted Rye.
Oh,
what is that?
Okay. It looks very red.
It's a whiskey.
Oh, okay.
And Scrapclaw, what are you drinking tonight?
I have my Diet Coke like always.
And how warm is
Like
it?
always.
It's warm. I'm just saying that I like drink them room temperature, which apparently is a faux pas. But
I heard this while I was in the other room, and I want to start the podcast about this topic.
Okay.
Are you fucking crazy to want to
No,
drink warm?
I drink.
By the way, not just warm.
I have water too. My water is also room temperature. I don't like cold water.
I can understand the water because you don't like cold water. You know, maybe.
Yeah.
But like soda warm?
No, it's not warm. It's room temperature. It's
not
like I warmed it up.
I've seen how you play Zoo Tycoon. You drive that computer into the ground. The floor is lava in that room.
It could be. Yeah, it's kind of they're stacked up. They're not like
By a show of hands, raise your hand if you would even consider drinking a soda warm.
No.
Like room temperature?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it at warm room temperature.
In a can, like it's
wouldn't
not
be like
flat.
my first choice, but if I really wanted something and it was all I had, I'd probably drink like a can.
No. Because that's the thing. You wouldn't be in a position where you couldn't go, oh, I should go get some ice.
No, because the ice waters it down.
Flat. Yeah, it makes it flat.
Yeah. I don't like ice and stuff.
Okay, little sidebar.
I guess a hot take or a warm take.
Well, so the thing is, I would agree with you about the ice thing, but ever since I've been using Yetis to drink sodas, or anything for that matter, like I don't like usually drinking water, but a Yeti with ice cold water is like heaven to me. So if you want a Yeti, go to our website, buy some of it.
Wait, we do Yetis.
Oh my gosh. A little merch pitch.
Wow, what an easy merch pitch.
I'm gonna, there you go. There's one right there. That's Braun. All right. Okay, let's get into 11.1. That's kind of big news, isn't it?
It's pretty big news, I guess.
Before we get into official news points of anything that's coming out of 11.1 or beyond, I just want to kind of get a chance to hear from all of you about how you're feeling with the patch launch. So I will start with. I feel like
start with me.
Okay, I was gonna say I feel like I shouldn't start with you because you're just gonna go on forever.
I'll say everything.
Steal everyone else's. So I'm gonna start with Ioski. I feel like out of all the three of us, you may have been. No, Scrap hasn't been playing too much, but maybe you haven't played as much as us three. I don't know. What do you feel?
So just about the patch in general.
Yeah, just what are your vibes?
I like it. I like the new zone a lot. There's a lot of cool character to it. Everything we thought it was going to be, it ended up being. The quests are really fun. The story was interesting leading up to it, seeing Galioix and the Dark Heart getting repaired and how that was all playing in and what that's leading to. That seems like that's going to be pretty interesting. As far as the stuff itself, I've mostly just been doing the quests in the zone, which have all been pretty fun. I did one earlier where I was distracting supermarket workers from crabs that were trying to escape. That was pretty fun. So it's been fun. It's been pretty cool.
I haven't done that one either. I have only done like half of them. I think
it's one of the quests when you're getting the car and you do the jobs.
Oh, the jobs.
Yeah, it's one of those.
So it's like a daily-ish type of quest.
Yeah,
Drive.
Yeah,
it's a drive job.
Still getting used to drive.
Surge.
It hasn't.
Isn't it Surge something?
Yeah, one of those things. It hasn't. The drive hasn't been as smooth as I was hoping it would be. I see a lot of people choose to use their regular.
You got to learn how to drift, bro.
Well, yeah, no, I'm saying it's got a bit of a learning curve to it. I do enjoy doing it.
Lucky and I last night were waiting to get into a key.
Easier.
we were just doing donuts and making ourselves sick, like going in circles doing donuts, like trying to get the best donuts.
You're drifting, man.
Drifting, it's fun.
And it all launched pretty smoothly. It seemed I didn't really have any lag, maybe a little bit when I first got into the city, but I wasn't really having too many issues. So yeah, it's pretty smooth overall.
Okay,
I was having input lag.
Yeah, I'd say it probably about met them. It didn't blow them away, but it wasn't worse. It was probably about what I expected.
Cool. All right, Lith, what about you, man? What are your vibes on 11.1 so far?
It's good. I like the new zone. The new zone is well done. The quests were okay. Some of them were fun. Some of them were interesting. Some of them were unique. I So I'm Blood Death Knight main now, and the multitude of changes that Blood Death Knight's got from season 1 to season 2 has kind of been overwhelming. I don't know what to do with myself. No, I'm kidding. There's no changes.
Yep.
So yeah, Blood Death Knight is the same. Nothing changed.
Lucky
And
you.
Well, I thought
Yeah,
they buffed
it's-
Sand Lane or whatever it is.
they didn't buff anything.
I thought they were going to.
All they did was extend Coag and make it to where it's just I don't know, makes your life better if you suck, I guess. But yeah, not a lot of changes there. So class wise, it's just the same. I burned through all the quests. I'm one away from Sojourner, and that one doesn't open till next week when those folks have a 7-day conversation and that gets done and they work,
Right.
Takes
work
time to
stuff out.
convince, what's his name? Raslo or whatever?
Yeah.
Raslo. Is it Resnick?
It's faster
Yeah.
than how long it took Illyria to convince Khadgar to do whatever the hell they were doing.
Yeah, it's
And
fair.
look at
20
Khadgar
days.
now.
Yep.
Can we
All right.
talk about the story though? Because it was
Okay,
like
let's go through the beats. All right, let's start with I want to, because this is maybe fresh on your minds, the new dungeon. Okay.
oh yeah, we just tried
So
it.
I asked you guys to run it before because we were, we just been, once we realized what we're going to talk about later, which is Mythic Plus is on a different level right now. We just haven't even looked at it. But I know
Yep.
Lithian and I, we got on the PTR to test it on Mythic Plus and enjoyed it. But what were y'all's impressions? It's only heroic, so you don't really get a good feel.
I
But what
really
were your
did normal.
impressions? Or
It's
maybe
only
normal.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
only normal. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of botched it by accident. I was slamming it a
what does
little
that
hard. Lithian was trying to explain his route, and I was just killing stuff in one hit.
I was trying to explain mechanics, and
Yeah. I
the
see
only
great.
mechanic
Oh, go on.
the only mechanic that Scrap really liked was the saw blades coming out of the ground.
Those look really good. A lot of the effects look really nice, like
Is
the
it-
flamethrower and the saw blades look good.
Yep. Yep.
Is it as loud as it was on the PTR?
No,
Oh, I
it
didn't
doesn't
notice
seem
it being
very
very
loud.
loud.
No,
No.
okay.
No,
It
they
was-
fixed that.
Ear sharp, like your ears would bleed every time it would go off because it would just be
That's
as if
really
like
funny.
a warehouse of saws exploded into your face.
I feel like it should scare you. It should be like, "Oh, good."
No, genuinely,
Like,
if you look at my stream wherever it is, you'll see us all
Yeah.
go like, "Oh fuck, what was that?"
yeah, your face, like your reaction.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
I
are you
do
looking?
see amazing skip potential with the things that launch you in the air. Like if you stand in the bomb, it launches you really high in the air. I think
Well,
that's
doesn't it
untapped. I
kills
think
you?
the
It
things
kills you on
explore
Mythic
that.
Plus, I think.
I bet if you're turtled, it wouldn't or something.
Sure,
Like,
we all turtle is.
and everybody has an immunity. We could skip a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I don't have a good idea of the layout. Lithian's shaking his head no.
Yeah, Scrap's already trying to make her own route, and you can see
Yep.
how bad she is at it.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
What about the potential for M plus? Are you like? Did you like the design? I don't know. It sounds like you killed them within a second, but did you get a chance
It's
to see how they
cute.
worked?
Yeah, I like it visually. The music was good. The packs seem fun. I don't know. Ask Lithian. He's the tank.
Well, he knows it. I know what he knows because I've done it with him. I'm looking for y'all.
Well, he knows more than me. I just got a vibe
Clearly,
from
you
it.
didn't see it. That's the point.
No, I did. I thought it was very nice.
Funny
But-
story from our run. Lithian was like, "All right, guys, here's my route. We're about to do this first pull." He does the first pull. He's like, "Oh wait, this wasn't the right pull."
Well, I ask you. I've got some bad news for you. That's all his routes. It's not
I was
just
gonna
new
say you're gonna get a lot of that.
That's how I get percent, man.
Like, did we talk about how
Um,
Lithian botched the Dawnbreaker count last night?
Well, okay, but we have to talk about.
Yeah.
We can't really get into that too much,
No, we'll get
but the
into that
dungeons
later.
are
Okay, we'll
very
get into that later.
bugged this week, and the Dawnbreaker count has been, I swear to God, different every time I've done it. I've done it 3 times this week, and it's been different every time. One time we were 11% short. It was crazy.
All right, I ask you. What about
So, I
you?
don't know.
What did you think overall? The new
Yeah,
dungeon?
it seems cool. I like that it's open, but it's still kind of linear. There's kind of a set path you're going, but it feels open and it feels like you have options in terms of how you're routing. I noticed when we were doing the mobs, there wasn't a lot of casts, which I know they were saying they were trying to do less
They-
of, so that's cool.
Well, there's a lot of casts. We just killed the mobs
didn't
too
see them?
fast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you didn't
and,
see them.
and we won't even
what-
see mythic only spells, right, from the bosses
Yeah.
especially.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
the
apparently
like
there's
the
a-
tethering.
Yeah,
Like
there's
a
a boss
tether?
with a tether. We didn't see it, and I'm very excited for that for pugs.
What I
Can't
was
wait.
really
Season 2 is
in-
gonna be so much fun.
What I was
Yeah.
really impressed with, though, were at least the mechanics we saw on the bosses. They all just seem like they're really fun. Lots of really cool, especially with the new swirlies that come out or the new like line animations. Just seems
Those
like
look fantastic.
those are going to be
They
really fun. There's the lines you get out of. There's those bullet hell bubbles you can dodge. Those seem pretty cool.
there's
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Seems really cool.
they moved one of the boxes that you have to blow up so it lines up with where the gliders are. Because most people used to on PTR used to skip the gliders because you never had a reason to go up there.
Mhm.
So that's kind of cool. Except you guys glided to who knows
Yeah,
where.
apparently, you're supposed to glide towards the bullseye. I learned that today. If you're watching this, glide towards the bullseye. Don't break your key.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a feeling we're gonna break a lot of those keys to begin with.
The
Yep.
tethering seems like a key breaker.
All right, I'm gonna talk about for a second then the quests. Okay, so we have a main
yeah, I want
quest
to talk about that.
and then the side quests.
Can I ask a question about the main quest?
Nope.
Because I just it seemed a little. Am I correct saying that like the secret to healing the dark heart was the same thing that goblins make soda out of?
Okay, so no, because you're clearly not
Pepsi.
reading the quest text. It's
I
not.
am,
It's not
yeah.
meant to represent like a soda. It's meant to represent Red Bull, right? So it's
Oh,
like
okay.
Monster energy drink that is.
But Kaja Cola, I always assumed it was like
I
a
know, yeah,
Pepsi.
but they
Cola,
talk
you
about it
know?
in a quest that it's like, no, this is like it's supposed to soothe your mind and give you energy and stuff
Like
like
a
that.
monster.
And they
Okay.
say,
McDonald's
oh, that
Sprite.
must be why it's able to like soothe the volatility of the black blood.
Oh my god, it's like it has ADHD and you give it Adderall and
it gives
soothes
black
it.
blood. No, it gives black blood its wings, right? Like that's what it does.
Right,
So,
right.
so
But I
yes,
still
there
feel like
is some context
yeah.
to that.
It's silly, it's a little fun and silly. I still feel like I don't have a good grasp of what the dark heart is, and I'm like, does Gallywix know what the dark heart is? He seems to want it. Who's he trying to sell it to?
Well, so
Like,
no,
I don't really
What?
spoilers for those who haven't done it. Let's talk quickly through what
Yeah.
happens. So it's Gazlo and one of the SI7 agents. I can't Razlo or whatever his name is.
Who doesn't have a voice actor, and why is
Yes.
that, Io? He told me the history of this.
Oh no, so if this is wrong, I read on Reddit
Oh,
that
we
there
can't
might be
read
like
Reddit.
that there might be a voice actor like strike thing going on, so that's why his voice wasn't in the game, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so that might be bad information. Never mind then.
Well, either way,
I didn't know.
it is jarring to have Gazlo talking and the other guy not.
Well, it took me a second. I thought he was supposed to be like doing sign language or something. Like I thought he was just like because he's like an SI7 agent, so I thought maybe he's just like really like mysterious and quiet. And I was like, no, he's like full on talking. He just
He's
doesn't have a voice actor.
Speaking in Thieves Can't.
That's what I thought something like that was happening because we had a character in Nakud who didn't speak and like it was kind of like but then I realized it's like they actually made it very clear that she wasn't speaking.
Yeah, and they have text lines for him. So he's
and also
like,
it was like, why
Mhm.
can my character understand his sign language or whatever? And then I was like, oh, I think he just doesn't have a voice actor. Weird.
so they start by joining Orwenya, is what's her name?
Orwena, yeah.
Orwena.
Which I love her in this because her entire start of the quest line is just like, oh, ew, icky. Ew, this place is gross. Ew, what are they doing? Icky.
I don't think she says icky.
No, she doesn't, but she's just not happy to be there. She's not having a good time in
because
Goblin Town.
the black blood's like destroying the land.
Yeah. I'm just like, girl, you're so right. This is icky.
Wow,
Oh
you
my
just
God.
diluted that to the worst possible.
I love
like,
her. I can't wait to make a
disrespect
bat
towards
troll.
what she cares about. Anyways,
Oh.
we send her off to get Ilaria once we discover that Zalatath is somehow involved because Gallywix has not only got black blood, but he also seems to have the dark heart. We chase people and find out what's going on with the cartels. Noggenfogger is apparently worried about his wife being held captive, and we discover that they're trying to not only control the black blood, which is where we find out the Kaja Cola is being used to help, or I should say Kaja. It's not the
Kajamite.
cola. The Kajamite is using to control the black blood to make it like an Azurite-esque type of thing.
Yeah, can we talk about that also? Is that black blood is literally just the Azurite 2.0? Like it's kind
Yeah.
of they're kind of recycling that plot pretty hard.
Well,
At
there's a
least they're
reason
not
that
using
might
the
be,
same
but
color and everything, you know?
I feel like they should have
Yeah.
used the same color because I would be like, oh, I know what this is. Like, because I did BFA and like I understand the implications. It's very powerful. It's also very bad, you know. But instead, it's different. But I don't see how it's different besides the color's different. But otherwise, you could sub out Azurite for Black Blood, and the story would still make complete sense. But maybe there's going to be a different angle that comes with it.
Sorry, I sneezed there.
You're good.
Well, okay, go on, I ask you.
Oh no, I just said bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, go on.
So okay. That criticism aside, we effectively chase Gallywix into a tunnel of some sort, where he reveals that he has repaired the Dark Heart, and that's where we also saw Xal'atath threatening Gallywix.
Not her feet though. She's hiding them from us.
Okay, again, another silly aside. Okay, I'm Gallywix. I'm facing her, right? And he's like, "Oh, we're having a little tough time." And
were you waiting for the feet?
No. She just ports behind him for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Like, he's looking at her, and she just all of a sudden disappears behind him. It's like, what?
Yeah, I think we can agree. She was just showing off. She's flaunting.
Yeah,
She's just like, look, I could take it if I wanted to.
But if it were me in those shoes, I wouldn't be intimidated. I'd just be like,
in those shoes?
Yeah. It'd be like, that's rude. What are you doing? I'm talking to you.
She is rude.
Anyways.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that the main story was a little bit not great. Like, so far, it's the beginning. Yeah,
Yes.
go on then.
I just don't know if I missed it. Did we know the Ethereals were always working with Xal'atath? Because I felt like they were kind of
in the raid in New
in the raid. The princess was. I think.
And I know there was a part, but could they have taken the Dark Heart and they're not with Xal'atath?
That's what I was confused about too, because it's like we see Xal'atath making a deal with Gallywix, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to give you the Dark Heart," and then they're like, "The Ethereals are just trying to take it now," and it's like, wait, whose side are they on? And then it's like Xal'atath can just port it behind them.
Yeah,
it's like, why does she need the Ethereals? It seems like they might be setting up that the Ethereals and Xal'atath are not exactly on the same side, but it was a bit confusing.
The only thing we have that indicates that there's a possibility is that Gallywix seems to immediately realize that the Ethereals are coming for the Dark Heart. Like, he doesn't get worried or scared.
Yeah.
However,
well, they say it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like, that guy says it.
However, theoretically, if what we're to believe about the ethereal homeworld in the first place is that it was destroyed by a Void Lord or whatever it is, then I don't see why they'd be wanting to work with the people who destroyed their homeland.
Yeah, that seems a bit weird.
But of course, this could be a faction that's in, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, I think there is
clear.
reason to believe that there is a possibility that they snatched it, and Xal'atath will be upset about that.
Yeah, I hope they kind of clear that up, because I do think it wasn't clear from the raid last time what the connections the Ethereals had with Xal'atath.
Yeah.
Maybe that's gonna be in like the end cutscene. We defeat Gallywix and Xal'atath's like, "I'll just take what I came here for anyways," and he's like, "What do you mean? You took it already?" And she's like, "What?"
That would be funny.
The death of Gallywix has been spoiled to a degree.
Oh, don't spoil me then.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
Okay.
But I feel like there's going to be a what do you call it? Like an epilogue to the raid. There's a chapter 5 and chapter 6, and chapter 5 will open obviously right before the raid. I feel like that will lead us into fighting Gallywix, because that's where the quest to kill him comes from. And then chapter 6 will probably explain where Xal'atath is and all that.
I do want to say one thing I was like blown away by is the fucking cutscene animation. Like the first cutscene where they're all at the meeting table and stuff. Oh, it was so good. I felt like I was watching an animated movie. Like, and then the last one. So I'm excited to seeing a little cutscene every week. Like, I will play through. I don't care how stupid the quest is. Like, they're doing real. The art team is always winning.
Whoa,
so,
whoa.
What? Except on the tier sets. Jesus Christ.
I didn't notice it because I'm not a neck guy, but I guess that Gallywix had some neck jiggle physics.
It looked fantastic.
And
really
when Gazlo like tells him not to do, at the last cutscene where he's like taking the Dark Heart and going through the portal, his little whatever transport pad.
Yep.
Like he walks up and I just looked at it, I was like, damn, that looks really good, and just his facial features and all that. So yeah, I definitely think they look great.
I'm super glad to have a bad guy with like a lot of personality, because I feel like we think about like Sarkareth, like he had no personality. He was
the whole Sarkareth side story was a miss, because the three whatever those dragons were, they were a great villain.
Razageth was fucking awesome. Like she was just
the whole
nasty.
lot of them were awesome.
Yeah, and Farak was pretty cool too. I don't think he was as good as Razageth, but it's really nice to have like a villain who's just like a cartoony fucking asshole. Where it's like, I can't wait to fucking punt that guy across the map. Like,
or Razageth with the little arms.
Dude, I'm the biggest Razageth fan ever. I hope she comes back someday as a
Okay.
skeleton or something.
Oh
I
my
So
won't go
God.
That'd
on,
be
but
cool.
main quest,
she's awesome.
not that great. I mean,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it's just it was serviceable, but nothing to
It
get
was
excited about.
underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but
quests.
again, it set up some good questions. However, the side quests
Oh,
are
in the zone.
stellar.
So
Stellar.
good.
Not a single one of the side quests. I hate doing side quests. Not
Yeah.
a single one of them. First off, they're not very long per, chapter of the Sojourner or whatever.
Yeah.
But every single one of them, I was like, okay, all right, I'm liking where this is going.
Yeah.
We had the apartment being purchased as a little bit of a spoiler back in a while back, but that was like honestly the weakest of them in my opinion. The
It
rest were
was. Yeah,
so
that one
much better.
felt kind of normal. I did like the wedding one the other day. That was
That one was
Yeah.
good.
where I
That
have
was
to
a
go
good
and
one.
talk
Well,
to all
the
the guests.
Godfather thing, right?
Yeah, the Godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done a ton,
And then
but
the
every one
GTA
is great.
heist.
Oh, I haven't
Mhm.
done that one.
Yeah.
I'm planning on doing them throughout the week, just slowly, because everybody I know, like, or a lot of people have been already capped on Valor Stones just from like they
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah.
stop doing the quests. I'm taking it slow. I've got the whole season to do the
You
quests.
don't even join Discord when you're doing questing because you don't want
No,
anyone to
no.
like
The
interfere.
first day, I didn't come in Discord at all because
Yeah.
I literally, like, I have the music turned up. I don't have any quest guides or anything. I'm just wandering. I see a guy on the side of the road. I'm like, what's his story? Like, I'm just slowly making my way through. I see a treasure at the top of a thing. Take way too long trying to get it. Like, I totally like to be immersed. And this was a fucking zone that you could get immersed in, and it felt like worth
Mhm.
it to
So,
explore. So good.
I ran into Thomas again tonight. For those of you who remember him from last
Thomas.
week.
Yeah, cheerleading. How'd that go?
Asked him, not cheerleading,
Oh, okay. I
gymnastics.
was like, I don't remember Thomas. Yeah.
Gymnastics.
He's the guy that
Gymnastics.
Oh,
that
whatever.
says he
Yeah.
does delves and he enjoys them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And one on his delve update, he said he's trying to get all the last pieces of his I'm gonna say pussy wagon, but I know that's not what it's actually called. What's the dirigible? Is that what it's called?
Dirigible, yeah.
Yeah.
Dirigible.
So
Delver's
like
dirigible.
that's on his like to-do list this week. But
Yep.
I was asking him, so what do you think of the news? And he's like, I just keep getting sidetracked by all these like cool little interesting things going on. He
It's
was in the
so
middle of
good.
trying to build his car or whatever, and he's just like, and then I just like see that, and he said that he needs to turn off DBM because it keeps like screaming at him whenever a rare spawns.
Oh, really? I don't have
But
that.
when it does scream at him, he goes, "Oh, I gotta go look for it," and just like starts looking, and so yeah, he's having a great time with the, as you said, the distractions, the everything that is, and I mean honestly, I know it's kind of cliche to say at this point how good the zone looks. Like everyone said it,
It's
right? But I
it's so
don't
good. You
think
gotta
we're
give
really,
compliments.
yeah, I don't think we're really grasping how well detailed everything is.
Every inch
I
of it
agree.
is so
Yes.
deep. I mean, I spent a while just going around and seeing what the vendors were selling. There's like a guy like hawking like shitty crystals. There's like a grill guy who's just selling burgers that you could just like hold in your hand. It's just
We'll
like
talk about an
it's
item that they
so
have in
beautifully
this area that I
detailed.
want to talk about in a little bit.
Sure, the golf, the beach, the way the
Golf
music
is good.
changes from
I
area
was
to area. It's
I
I mean, I could really this is an RPer's dream, this zone. Like
Yes.
it's so fucking good.
I was so focused on just like making sure where I was going with the drive that before we actually came over here, I actually took some time while driving to actually look at like the skybox and everything as I was driving, and I was like, wow, there's just so much stuff that you don't even get a chance to notice because you're not even like looking up when
Yep.
you're doing a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of cool things to see if you look for them. So
Yeah.
I
All in all,
do a bunch of
it's not even,
parkour.
10 of 10 doesn't even
Yep.
cover it.
Parkour, yeah, struggling with
yeah,
parkour.
actually, that's my only gripe is that there's no nice high spot that you can just go and chill. There's not like a place like in Dornigal or Veldraken, like your spot. I wish there was a spot because I want to hang out there all the
My
time.
spot's at the beach, dude. There's like a beach party happening. That's gonna be my spot.
Oh, there's a beach. Okay, I gotta look for that.
Oh, you haven't been to the beach? It's like the best
Yeah, there's a
place.
beach.
Yeah, there's a beach.
All right.
Oh wait, no, I know where that is.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the story, we've talked about the zone, we talked about the quest, we talked about,
Let's talk about the music.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Quickly,
The
I
trumpets.
just gonna say
Quickly.
personally, the Donkey Kong music is awesome.
I
Music level,
I
water
haven't
level,
found a
water
track
level.
I didn't like. Yeah,
Um,
it's good. That's all I want to
doing
say. I
the
was just gonna say.
surge, Uber, whatever,
Yes, it's
is
so good.
awesome.
All I want to say is that if you haven't run around in that zone with the music on, fucking put it on loop and enjoy it. It is so fucking good. I will have the
Mhm.
music on this entire season.
Hold on, but
fucking
Technique
love it.
though, Technique was watching your stream. What did he say about
Yeah.
the music?
I don't remember what did he
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 say.
said
said
it was
something
awful, and he
offensive.
thought he thought it was stupid, and then like
He's the donkey, dude. I don't know what to say about him. He's just trying to poo-poo it because we're having so much fun and he's not subbed, but he's
he's
gonna be
that
back within
meme.
2 weeks.
He's
He'll
that
be
meme
back.
where it's like, "Why are you having fun?"
Squidward
As everyone's
looking
standing
through the
around.
window.
Yeah.
Squidward looking through the
Yeah.
window.
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing we need to talk about, I think, in this patch is the drive system. Okay.
Okay.
So
The
I'm
drift.
gonna give you my
the drift
initial thoughts
system?
and see the drift system. At first, I hated this system because I was just bumping into everything, and whenever a rare would spawn, it would take me more to get in my car, bump around into all these little things, realize that there's a wall in my way, whatever, right? And then the rare would be dead, than me just getting on my regular mount and walking, right?
Yeah. The walk of shame.
But once you get the GPS from the Uber, switch, or you do the racing where you have like the little circles to drive through, it was significantly more fun. So I wanted to hear what
Yeah.
y'all's thoughts were.
I mean, I've talked about this at length. I love the system. I feel like this wasn't the right zone for it, unfortunately, because there's so many tight little corners and
Mhm.
alleyways, and it's not a very tightly handling thing. So, I mean, you can just see that when you go there, you see a ton of people on their regular mounts, like, which is
Yeah.
kind of a sad sign, is that people
Yeah.
are just like they don't want to bother learning it because there is a bit of a curve. But there's really good stuff. I mean, like you said, the races and the surge, the jobs, it's perfect there because you have these big open spaces where it's very clear and you get to really drift and have fun. I feel like this. I've said it before. I feel like this mechanic would be fucking phenomenal in like a Mad Max like zone where it's like super open and there's not a ton of stuff to bump into. But it's really frustrating when you like think you're going good and you just like stall on a light post or like a box. And I
Dude.
wouldn't want them to cut the detail of the zone because the detail of the zone is what makes it so unique and fantastic, but it doesn't work with this kind of clunkily handling
No,
hoopty.
the problem is you haven't upgraded your tires, you haven't upgraded
I
your
haven't.
engine, you haven't upgraded anything. So, it's your fault
Well,
for having
okay, I'm
a shitty car.
I'm
Yes, but
enjoying it enough that I'm learning it and using it to get around and stuff, but it does kind of sadden me when I look around and I see everybody
And
riding on dragons and
it's
horses.
faster to bounce off of everything and
nope.
get to one
Not for
place
me.
than it is to go on the regular mount.
I will debate that because I got myself so fucking wedged in a corner that I had to literally hard.
One
Oh
thing
my
though,
God.
one thing that's really
Yeah.
nice is a mage when you slow fall, the car slow falls. So I'll take,
That's
you
That's
can do
funny.
like a jump with it, and I'll just literally glide to wherever I want to go.
No, I am
Frank's
a little
exploiting.
disappointed. Okay, one thing that they could do if they bring the drive back, there need to be more ramps to get sick air, like in Grand Theft Auto, where there would be
Yeah.
like random ramp setups where you could just like
Or
fly
burnout when you
over
go
it and
through
it
a
would go
billboard.
slow-mo or whatever. Like,
Get
why
some
are
like
there not
achievements.
hella ramps in this place? Like, I feel
Well,
like it's
yeah.
just not, it's almost there. And I hope they don't gut it because everybody seems to have like not be that into it. I hope they improve it.
See.
That's my
I asked you,
dream.
you look like you wanted to say something, but I don't know if you're just pointing
Oh
at me.
no, I was just gonna say yes, no, I
Yes.
was just gonna say there's a couple spots it looks like they kind of set up some jumps, and I wonder if you make those if you get achievements. I think that'd be cool if they had more stuff like that where you could just do cool like jumps to get achievements.
Yeah.
The system is clearly awesome at its core, right? And I don't even want like a Mad Max area because I feel like that might be boring to just go straight, or even if you
No,
could
no,
trick a lot.
you gotta picture it
They need
like
like
there's
a
like
like a
canyons and
Scottish
stuff.
Highlands kind of like, just valleys that you go
Yeah,
through, and you can go through tunnels and all this stuff,
let me do it in Arathi Highlands. That's great.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh.
Oh my god.
Anything else we want to talk about within the, let's call it the launch features of the patch?
Maybe let's rate it. Let's rate
Okay. So
the new
like so
zone
far,
and the quest.
prior to
Yeah,
the
the
season.
quest, the zones, the music, the vibes, the just like
All
as a
together?
patch, how would you rate it compared to like a Zereth Mortis or I can't think of what the ones
Let's-
in Dragonflight were called.
Sterilek or the
Emerald
Emerald Dream.
Dream, yeah.
Without
Sarlacc, yeah.
doing the raid yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not including the raid, just
No,
the zone.
just the actual environment.
Just like you would compare it to Emerald Dream, Zeralek Caverns, Zereth
Quest.
Mortis,
Don't even worry about drive. Just quest, music.
Orthia.
Yeah.
No, I'd get a 7 out of 10. A pretty strong 7.
Okay. I ask you.
It's definitely the best of these zones. So if you're going back and looking at Dragonflight for sure, I think the Emerald Dream's pretty close, but this one's just got a lot more character to it and a lot more better, or sorry, a lot better side quests
Or
than
better.
some of those other ones. Yeah, so I'd give it like an 8.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm going higher. I'm gonna give it a 9 because I'm trying to
A
compare
9.
it to ones that I've enjoyed a lot in the past, and I have to go all the way back to like BFA, like back to Mechagon and that underwatery area. I can't remember what the fuck it was called.
Magical.
Yeah, those were like really involved and really detailed,
Mhm.
and I feel like they kind of fell off of that into Shadowlands. I think Zeroth Mortis was great. I think not a lot of people were playing during that season, and so it kind of got passed over. But like Korthia was dog shit. Like,
Well,
I
yeah.
think Emerald Dream sucks. Especially being such a hyped zone, something we've been looking forward to seeing since Classic, and it just like, oh, it's just like fucking Ardenweald reskinned, which was just like Teldrassil reskin. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I hope I don't get shit for that because it's more than that. But it was just disappointing.
What
I
do
thought
you
Zero
do? You
Like-
never care when people flame you.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. But I don't think it 100% deserves it. It was just one of the most disappointing zones for me. This zone lives up to the hype. I think it's fantastic. I see myself just vibing here. I actually see myself doing all the side quests just because I enjoy it so much. Doing all the races and stuff. I think this is like this gold standard for what these kind of patch zones should be. They should be
Mhm.
deeply immersive, connected to the story, you know, but like they should have the whole vibe needs to just like be that. And I think they have fucking nailed it, dude. So I give it a 9.
I'll actually
That's
go back
impressive.
and change mine to 9 because
Sick.
the other
Nice.
ones, Zerla Caverns and Emerald Dream, I was still staying in Valdrakken. I went back to Dornegal once, and I'm like, I'm going back to Undermine. I can't be in
Yeah,
this
I want to live
this
there.
boring dead city with just so wide open.
I will say
need
I was
the
pretty
mean
wowed.
streets of
I was
Underbound.
pretty wowed by Zeralek when it came out because we'd never seen anything like that before. Like the whole flying in this underground huge cave was cool, but I did not like hang out there. You know,
Yeah.
like
Well,
or
I'm
is it
keeping
gets
my
useful
rating
hang
the
out here?
same.
the thing is,
Okay, fuck
like
you.
every other zone that I can think of that isn't maybe every other zone had some sort of power tied to it that felt like I was obligated to go there, right?
Yeah.
This is the first zone where I don't have that, I don't feel at least I have that responsibility, and yet I'm spending more time there. I never, once I do the main quests, like the 0.0 leveling quests, I never worry about them, and I have done every single one. Zereth Mortis was probably the closest, I would say, that I
Zeroth
got like,
Mortis is
Yeah.
great. I
right,
think
that I
it deserves more
engaged
hype.
with it, but there was still power involved with that because I think we had to unlock the catalyst at that point.
Yeah. But you know what Zereth Mortis brought in that this has done well too is like the exploration factor where there were like
Yeah.
tons of tiny little treasures and little parkour
Yeah.
things and little hidden puzzles and stuff that made it like a Zelda zone almost. Like it had kind of a
Yes.
Breath of the Wild feel. Like that obviously it was nowhere near as good, but they were definitely hitting on something that is desired by gamers to like go and find little tiny things that are just for me. And I feel like this zone does it so well. Like so they're hitting on that.
Well, I
What's
appreciate
your
you
rating,
adding
Frank?
to my rating and review there.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
Yeah. So
no,
go on
I
with
was
your
just
review.
gonna say this was and is the best zone that they've added in a patch. You know, there are other zones out there that overall I like better. But I have not engaged with a patch like this, I'd argue ever, right? It is so fucking good. And that being said, like I don't want to engage with it, but it's so good I am engaging with it. I guess is the best way I can put it, right? Okay. Well, that is
what
awesome.
was
What
your
was your
rating?
number
10.
rating?
It's perfect. It's perfect. 10
You have 10?
10?
Well, I would like
10.
to change mine to a 10 then.
S
Oh
it
my
is,
gosh.
It is
No.
perfect. There's
I'll
not
give
a
it
single
a
thing
9.
that I'd tell them that they did wrong in that zone.
Wait a
I
minute,
think
but you said the story wasn't great.
yeah, the story was well, we haven't
No,
seen it.
and I'd say
all the way.
this. I would knock it down if the side quest didn't not only overwhelmingly fix that or course correct it, but
Yeah.
and then handedly like overtake the problem, right?
Yeah.
The main quest, actually, I'd even argue the main quest was fine. It just felt a little long. I think it was like 2.5 hours to get done.
It was fine and it's just a little bit meandery and awkward, but
They're,
it was fine.
They've set a priority as the main quests that are just going to kind of be more story beats, and the side quests are going to be where they focus a lot of their attention, and you can absolutely see that in play here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know why I say 7? Just real quick.
Yeah, you have the low score. You have to
No, I
justify
do
it.
have the low score, but it feels small compared to
I
some of
would
the other
say
ones.
That is true, yeah.
And then once you get drive and you can take your car from one end to the other, it gets even smaller.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it
I think,
doesn't feel
but I think
expansive.
they
why
could have done
have
a
wasted
lot.
space?
I
No, but
mean,
I think they could have done a lot if they just doubled the width of all the streets. It would have been better because then I
maybe
wouldn't
some
run into so much
highways.
stuff. It would made it much bigger. Like, because I do feel like, yeah, it feels a little shrunk, but I feel like compared, like we've had way smaller zones, like Korthia and Zarelek and
Yeah,
stuff were like teeny
and
tiny.
Well,
This
no,
is a good
Zarelek was
size.
way bigger than this.
yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I'm
way
It had a
bigger.
lot
misremembering maybe.
less, and it had a lot less in it.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I'd take this over Zarelek any day
Oh, for
because
sure.
there is,
Mhm.
again, I could just walk this, right? I could walk from one end to the other, theoretically,
Yeah.
RP walk it. And every single
RP.
second I'd be going, whoa, 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 whoa.
That's so true. I agree.
So,
The detail is great, but it's still small.
well, that
Eh.
doesn't,
Can I say
that's
one
like,
last
why
thing
is that
before we
why is that a negative, All right.
Yeah. Go on, Aya.
Wait, one last thing before we jump off to something else. I really appreciate that when they designed the quests, they put stuff across the map from each other, so you had to drive. That was a
Yeah.
good idea by
Oh.
them.
Yeah, I think they did. I did notice that sometimes where it's like, oh, this is a straight shot on like the main road. I guess I'll get in my fucking car.
But the problem is the quests where the thing is like right behind you, you
Yeah,
don't
you
see
don't see the
it,
car.
and you're I gotta go put something on that shelf over there. I
Yeah.
totally missed it. I'm walking
that
all over the
one,
place.
I had that problem too with a couple of them.
Well, let me point
So.
out one thing is that Lithium thinks the zone is small and Frank thinks it's really big, but Frank's also been walking places because he
He-
doesn't
he
want to get in
RP
the
walks
car.
everywhere.
I acknowledge it is probably one of the smallest zones, but it
Yeah.
is the perfect example of taking something and doing the most with it,
Mm-hmm.
I like Zareth Mortis
I think it's
on the other side of the scale. It feels open, and I am okay with that because, as you said, Scrap, there are a lot of treasures, anyways. And of course, it just like was beautiful in its own way. But honestly, my favorite part of Zareth Mortis was where you enter the zone, and it's like that water.
When you fly in.
No,
it's so good.
where the water and like it's kind of like if you ever done like some of the Zelda games where they have like a dark link and you fight them on top of the like mirrored water.
Oh yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. That's like my favorite part of it. But then there are parts where it's like, okay, this is a big desert, boohoo.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this is like doing the most with what you can, and I don't care. That it's
I will
small.
say what makes it feel big is that every single building you walk into is so intricately
3
detailed. There's so
levels.
many NPCs. There's 3 levels. Everything is like you can see their beds, their desks, their tiny little bookshelves and stuff. You can see characters, look at their names and stuff. So it's like you don't just have the outside, you have the insides of everything too. Like
Just-
there's been like one door that I was like, oh, I need to get in here, and it was like, oh, that door doesn't open. I was like, dude, what? Because like every door opens for the most part.
Just shows you it's not the size, it's what you do with it.
Yeah, let's put that right
Aw, okay.
on the cover.
Let's go
That's
on
a
to
pretty butterfly.
Let's go on to some news. All right. Scrap.
Okay.
It is March dawning upon us. That means a new trading post.
Yeah, the new season in March.
Moving the goalpost.
I fuck with that butterfly. That's a really pretty butterfly.
It's good, but I play a Tauren and a Worgen, so I will not be getting the butterfly because I'm gonna look like a
Yeah, 'cause
giant
you're a
fucking
furry.
thing. Well, yeah, sure, but like I'm also
Vigilante Deep Mask. That's sick.
that's cool. I'm also a big lady, so I crush butterflies on my mounts.
So a
Yeah.
lot of butterfly theme.
I like the
right?
weapons are very
I'm
cool.
gonna cut ahead here real quick because this is the reward for
Oh,
completing.
look at that!
Right.
I love it.
No.
Look at that guy. He's looks great.
This is causing a rift between people on Twitter because obviously there's people who just think it looks great and they're happy about it, and then there's other
Yeah.
people going like, "What the hell? Where's the war in Warcraft?" And it's like, Jesus, dude, like just. enjoy it.
Okay, this is way better than the pale pink dress from this last
Well, and
one.
even then, it's
Well-
like your tier sets will reflect most of that carnage, right? Like,
I bet every single one of those people is playing a fucking night elf female. So like, this is what this was
But
made for.
Here's the thing.
Nathan's one of those people.
No. I think it's fine, but I'm also really lazy when it comes to transmog, and I want a full set. And I don't know, what am I gonna do with that? It's just the shoulders, the belt.
See,
Look what they did. They put it just with a dress, just the elegant
Here's
dress.
the thing. I'm the opposite. I don't really care about
Yeah.
anything except for the shoulders. Right?
Yeah.
Fancy shoulders.
True WoW player.
Because I can
Just pretty much a
find
big and
everything
stupid.
else to fit. as long as the shoulders fucking go. You know, they go hard.
Well, the shoulders have to match the belt and the weapon, and then everything else doesn't have to match.
If I have a full set, Scrap can't make fun of me for my transmog.
That's true. Yeah, every time I see you go to dungeon right now and you're in the anniversary Death Knight set, I'm like, oh, he looks good because that set looks awesome. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Scraps dog.
Okay.
Yeah, she's bugging me.
So we also have a new store mount pack. Now, granted, there's no player power attached to this. However, there are 5 mounts for $65. Shawnee wanted us to let everyone know he doesn't care how much it costs. Keep buying them so that he can fund the player housing team.
Yeah.
It does have a unique animation where it like chases a little fairy. I don't know if I have that here. But it.
Oh,
you
I
know,
like. I like the sword.
How come it couldn't have a unique animation where it has an
The sword?
auction house and a mailbox?
Yeah, come on. Yeah, that sword looks awesome.
Oh, it's a one hand. It's a one.
Oh no! Can't they? Why don't they make it two hands?
Well,
they're ruining my life.
You guys are having a different conversation over that. I ask you said something though, like why can't it have an auction house and a mailbox? Do you think that may be something they should do going forward? Is just like every 3 months have a new mount that does the same thing but looks way cooler?
Once
I
a
don't
year.
know. It's tough because I feel like on one hand, you know, you're kind of slapping in the face of all those people that paid the 5 million gold back in the day to get the dinosaur. But on the other hand, is it really a big deal?
Well,
I don't know.
They had it for 3 expansions as a like a
Yeah, they did. No, I think
bonus.
once a year. I think you get exhausting if you do it more than once a year.
Well,
but
how
you're
much?
okay with that being like just change it out and make a new version?
The more people have auction houses, the better because then I don't have to buy one.
I mean, you look at the economics, right? So this mount is probably going to make them a ton of money because
Not
it's
near as much as the Brutosaurus, though.
No, not near as much because it didn't do anything. It chases a ferret around. Who cares?
I don't even think it's that cute.
You get 5 different colors. Yeah, it doesn't look that great to me. I'm not going to buy it. But if you released the same as the Brontosaur, if you released it once a year, maybe it's okay, but it still won't make a big hit unless you wait like 3 expansions or something like that, and let a new player base buy it.
They need to do what they did this time and just wait till they release the worst, buggiest patch ever, and everyone's pissed off, and then just push it out and be like,
that's
wait,
what they're
guys,
saying.
here you go.
They probably have. They probably have 5 auction mounts lined up, ready to like let go anytime they fuck up.
Yep.
Like shit. But I think we all agree we're all in support of this kind of shit. Like we don't generally argue about this.
We don't, but the general feel of let's call it the Asmongold's of the world just
but we don't
hate the idea of just anything on the shop. Now, as we talked about last week, though,
you think about the economics. Stuff like this makes it so they don't raise the subscription fees.
Yeah.
You know,
I talked about it last week with Bobby Kotick.
This
is where they say we'll put our effort.
Yeah, that's great. It's basically everybody else paying for my subscription.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool. And if you're the kind of person who buys this, I think if you really like something, like if there's something that really fits my character's vibe, I think I'll buy it. Like, you know, like it's totally okay to buy these.
At least you get 5, but it's still $65.
For something like that, no. I mean, it would have to really fit my character's vibe for me to buy one.
Yeah,
for 65 especially. Yeah.
It's not really a Death Knight thing.
No.
part of the patch did also include some mounts. You guys want to take a quick look at all the mounts?
I love looking at the mounts and the pets and stuff.
So you got your new Dirigible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So our boy Thomas is going to be farming for this very soon. But
I wish him luck. Good luck, Thomas.
Tons of rockets.
There's a hyena.
Lots of hyenas. So there's the brown one.
All these are renowned too, right? So these are going to be pretty easy to get.
This is the raid renowned one, which means while you say easy, it will be time consuming because you'll have to do like 4 bosses a week, even if it's on LFR.
Fuck me, I'm gonna do that.
For this one, I would. This one, I would. Right?
Well, let's do it together because I need that fucking dinosaur.
Of course, we're gonna do it together.
Okay.
KSM and KSL are 2 different variations of it.
All right, we have to do PvP scrap. I need the seal.
Dude, this looks good.
Wait, is that the PvP mount?
Looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to PvP.
So these ones don't get retired. You can get them after the fact. So I'm just saying you don't have to be pressured.
Processes you don't oversee.
I want that.
No, they always do. The vicious war mounts, you can get them after. You just automatically get it when you get to a certain point in the season, and then any extra points you earn, you can put it towards older mounts.
Oh, I see. Because this is the one for, I guess, like not.
That's the one. That's the one you're not getting. I'm sorry, you're not getting
that is a sick bat though.
Yeah, no, those ones are really good, but that's kind of like the Mythic Plus title. It only goes to the top.
Yeah.
couple people, so it's a very rare amount.
These two I want. The next two.
So we decided we're gonna do Glory of the Raid, right?
I'm not doing that.
Yes, you are. And then of course Chrome King. I think this is the heroic version of the mount. So it seems like.
Oh, dude.
Oh, do the mythic one.
Right.
Click that.
The mythic
no,
one.
fuck this one. I mean,
The
that
mythic one is
good.
so cool.
Would you? Okay, Scrap. So you said it. You would pay for a really good mount. Would you pay for like they do mount runs?
No, I wouldn't. No, not for this one. I think it's great. I'm gonna be happy to see people on it, but it's not for me.
I want it though. We
You
gotta
can pay
get
for it.
cutting edge. Let's go.
How much is a mount run? Do you think in dollars?
It depends on how long the season goes, because as like more guilds are able to farm it and stuff, the price goes down. So it depends.
I bet you last season it was harder because I don't think Anzaret got cleared a whole lot. So if a guild could do it, they were probably like, listen, you're getting it from us or you're not getting it.
Well, figure they also have to, like, if all the guild, it drops one guaranteed one every week, right?
Yeah.
To a mythic guild.
When you
but
pay,
you have to have
for that guarantee.
Well, you have to assume that all 20 of the raiders already have it. So it's already been 20
No. Scrap.
weeks or something.
When they, Liquid and all the guilds that, try to race, even those cutting edge top 100s, whatever. They, even if they don't spend a ton of gold on the race to world first, they still need to make gold for the guild for all the things.
Yeah. Those are like the world
so
first
they
ones.
guarantee you the amount when you buy it. You don't have to worry about the 20 other people.
I'm thinking the casual guild where they just like, oh, we already have all the mounts and we have it on farm. We may as well make a little bit extra. They might only sell like 4 or 5 runs like over the course of a season.
Well, it's probably more so because they have no way to actually advertise the sale as well as Liquid or anyone else.
That's true.
Anyway.
I don't know. Somebody in the comments tell us how much you paid for yours if you got something like that. So
I don't even. What is this? Just like a shoulder piece, armor piece.
It's kind of cool and it flies.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are all kind of samey to me. I'm excited about. Oh, the hyenas are fucking great.
The Wowhead rocket.
Oh, the red one, Exalted.
Exalted.
That's actually that's not hard to do, Scrap, because
it's not hard.
It's like a couple.
Okay. You're gonna get it.
That's gonna look sick on my warrior. I need that.
More rockets, more shredders. Here's a surfboard. Which we
cute.
Don't quite know where it comes from.
Well, I need that for the beach area.
More hyenas.
Oh, I like that color too. Oh, that's a drop.
Yeah.
From what?
Blackwater Trove. I don't know.
Oh, it's like a mount. It's like a treasure or something.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that color.
Blackwater Trove, I think, is the one cartel. So you probably got to do their quests to get the trove.
Yeah, I got it.
Blackwater's
okay, cool.
the bad guys, right?
No, that's Darkfuse, I think.
Darkfuse.
Yeah, no. Blackwater is the bad guys. It's you're thinking of
No, Darkfuse is right. He's right.
Yeah, but I think Blackwater is Darkfuse is the same.
Is it one of the cartels? I don't know.
No, it's scroll up. I can't think of what it is. The Booty Bay one is something similar. It's like Bilgewater.
There's Venture Co. Noggin.
Yeah.
So Steam
Wheels. I think some of these.
Yep. Bilgewater is the Booty Bay one. Blackwater is the bad guys.
Yeah, but those are those are the cartels.
Blackwater is good. Look, because you have to get Exalted.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, who's Blackwater then?
You're probably thinking of like old pirate lore.
Yeah.
Bilgewater is a Revel guys. Who's Blackwater? I don't even know.
So this is the one I was confused. Bilgewater's Solutions.
Bilgewater's Gazlowe, right?
1, 2, 3,
oh, maybe
4,
I'm mixing those two up.
Yeah. So hold on. So here's the thing. There's 4 of the cartels, right?
Yeah.
To choose from. Yet there's 5 here. So where's that 5th one hidden? Which I think is the Dark Solutions one, because this is like when they go good.
Did you see? Yeah, I was gonna say. I think there is a interview with Ian and the girl he does the interviews with. I don't know her name off the top of my head.
Wow, rude.
Wow.
He doesn't remember girls' names.
No,
okay.
She all but said pretty much that they're gonna go good once Scallywix is dead. So
I like that. I mean, that makes sense. They're probably just profit motive,
Spoilers,
right?
dog. Okay.
Yeah, spoilers, man.
Mounts.
Jeez.
Love the mounts.
Trading
Great
posts,
stuff.
always good stuff. Okay, let's quickly touch some talking points. Like, did you know there's an item in here, Scrap, called Liquid Gold?
I bought that.
You
no, you
did?
didn't. Shut up.
I did, yeah, because
Did you eat it?
Someone in
Did
the
you get an
HPL,
achievement?
someone in the HPL Discord said, "Does anyone know if this is infinite?" And I was like, "That would make sense, actually." So I bought it to try it, and it turns out it's not infinite. And it turns out I missed half a second before I took it. That someone else had already bought it. And was like, "Nope, it's not infinite." So
Wait, you ate it?
I wasted gold. Yeah,
You ate the golden burger, dude.
No, but
I know.
it costs 5,000 gold per second sipping.
I was just joking Lithia needs to buy it because we have this whole Golden Burger story. But literally, I sent a screenshot to him immediately. The first thing I did, I love in these areas. I really want to like immerse myself.
You
I
just
check
read
all
this.
the vendors. I think they needed an achievement with it. You know,
Yeah,
if you
that's what
spend
I
a
would think.
hundred
Like a
thousand
feat
gold,
of strength or something.
yeah, a feat of strength. Because that's what I assumed it had. It's really funny that it just doesn't do fucking anything.
So consider this a PSA to everyone else. Don't do what
Don't eat
Ioski
it.
did, which is 1, not read the Discord talking about what they did, but 2, not looking and say, why don't I just check Wowhead, you know?
He's got so much gold to waste. It's fine.
You
Okay.
need an achievement for that.
We got some news on Dinars. Nothing confirmed other than they're coming in the 11.5 patch. Now, some note on the 11.5 patch. We should expect it. I think it's after 8 weeks, maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's a
So
bit
not
away.
too far off in the future. And it's not 11.7, which is also nice. But we don't know how they'll be given out, other than that they will be there. 11.1.5 is on the PTR already, so we hopefully find that out soon. But they've essentially said, we heard the feedback, we don't want to leave it for too long. I feel like the sweet spot would be to start giving it out after week 6 or week 8, because that's when people might stop pushing, stop. We finish the raid in 7 weeks as an example, right? So that'd be a way. But yeah, I mean, it's just a way to make sure we guarantee that one trinket slot that everyone either can't get or that they didn't get.
Kazan.
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna have to get exalted to get that T-Rex, I guess I will be doing this anyway.
Maybe, yeah,
You know?
that's true. Well,
Yeah.
but they're not going to be tied to being exalted. So you're saying you're just going to raid that?
No.
I don't want to, but the T-Rex is really cool.
So
my
again,
gosh.
just a PSA again about where that is going. Let's talk about no more season 1 upgrades. I think this is a first for Blizzard to not allow you to continue to spend your crests with a week to go into the new season. I would say with very little warning as well, right?
Yeah, they didn't really give any indication. I know we kind of talked about we thought it was going to happen, but then they released that thing showing the stuff that was getting reset, and the crests weren't under that, so that was confusing.
Yeah,
very little communication.
I speculated.
Why did you speculate though? They've never done something like that before.
A lot of people speculated. I remember Reef telling me to spend all my things on upgrades this week, so I don't know.
That's what I said. I said the same thing.
It's one thing though to say spend all your upgrades, but like I didn't even have any upgrades to worry about in that sense. My thing is not so much the crests going away. I don't think they should have, but it's that we all got vaults for this week and what will be next week as well, vaults. And they're utterly useless. I can't tell you how many people I saw on Twitter who were like, oh, finally got my Spy Masters, and they can't upgrade it now, you know?
Yep.
And they nerfed it. Dude, giving out Spy Masters this week is diabolical.
Second nerf in the row, right?
Dude, I can't believe they even they should have just turned off the Spy Master button. Like, don't give anybody those this week. It's so brutal.
But it's even more brutal to get it and not be able to upgrade it, right? Like that's kind of criminal for in my opinion.
Honestly, I didn't even check what was in my vault. I just went for the gold.
It's tough because they could come out and give us a way to upgrade it for free, but like we're probably replacing the stuff in a week or two. So I think it's going to be one of those things you're just going to feel bad about it, and hopefully they're better in the future.
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, anyways.
How long is it going to take me to upgrade all my gear? And then people are going to start asking, when do I break my tier set and all that other stuff? So
yeah, people already been talking about that this week.
There's some people who are saying that, and I can't remember. I think it was maybe Roar, who was saying that the Sims say that some tier sets are performing so poorly that you will not upgrade to the tier 2 or season 2 tier sets until you're 30 item levels higher than your
that always feels so fucking bad.
Now,
and I have experienced that.
I joked that survival wouldn't get any looks period, right? Because that's what Scrap complained about on 6 episodes.
Well, they already adjusted the tier set
for
before.
You, but not all tier sets. However,
no.
Other people are asking, well, are they doing any class tuning? It is my opinion that we might see a little, but we won't see much tuning this week because, one, they don't want to knee-jerk react to the fact that some people might be overperforming, given that their gear hasn't really caught up to where it will be at the midpoint/endpoint of the season. Yeah. Because there are some classes who benefit greatly from stats early in the expansion versus some who take a little bit of time to ramp up. So I wouldn't necessarily start panicking just yet. And Blizzard does do general class tuning. It seems like every other week, especially once the race to world first starts and they see the raid in action.
Yeah.
But I do expect that we'll probably see some tier set tuning
I
as well.
I
Especially
prefer they
since their
take
jackpot
longer.
system.
Yeah, I prefer they take longer and tune it well so that there's not a bunch of like, up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
Like figure out what the issue is, get in there, fix it, tune it, and then it's like you shouldn't have to retune it too many times. I think they were really fucking good about it this past season. Like I don't think a lot of like once they fixed stuff, there were like weeks we had where there was no class tuning at all.
Well, there's going to be a
And
point where they say enough is enough. Let's just move on.
yeah, that's true. But I wouldn't expect to see class tuning like 2 weeks into the season, maybe even 3 weeks, as people start to get their 2 sets and 4 sets, and they can really see, okay, these are underperforming. These nobody is playing these. People are These Discord is on fire.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that sort of thing.
the problem I had though was they redid Prop Paladin. Prop Paladin was at the bottom. They redid Prop Paladin, and then all of a sudden, all tanks moved to Prop Paladin. I mean, I did too, just because I wanted to see what all the hype was. But they all moved to Prop Paladin, and all of a sudden, the only tank being played is Prop Paladin. And if you were playing Blood DK, for example, you couldn't get into keys because nobody would take you because you're not a Prop Paladin.
We
I'm
have this
not trying to
conversation
start
every
it,
week.
but when it comes to figuring out how to balance things, like they really
Hold on,
need to
Lithium.
get
Okay,
better at it.
Let's answer that question. Do you think it was a balance thing, or do you think it's a player base overreacting to what they think is FODM?
No, if you get these streamers out here talking about
no, that's then.
Well, that's the streamer's fault, not
Yeah,
WoW's
not
fault.
well,
WoW's
no,
And that's the
no.
community's fault for taking what the streamer says without thinking about it.
Well, the problem is the streamers they're not wrong. Like
No, of
Prop
course not.
Paladin they have a ton of stops. They make keys so much easier. They got a bunch of utility and all these other tanks.
Okay, timeout. So was that different before the 11.1 or the 11.5 patch? The tuning pass.
I think they fixed DPS and they fixed survivability.
Mostly
on Prop
survivability.
Paladin. Mostly survivability, yes, but nobody noticed the DPS because nobody was playing it, I guess. And
a lot of that
I
came from Lightsmith too.
Right. So the transition to the hero talents and everything else, but I mean I played it and it was impressive. How easy keys were playing a Prop Paladin
because of their utility. That was always there. If we rewind the clock to any time I'm tanking, right? I always tell you I pick Prop Paladin because of their toolkit, right? So my point is that it's FODM chasers who, whether they're chasing it because it does the most damage in keys. I hear that some people chose it because of all the poison dispels that you might have in keys. It alleviate, especially as a disc kind of got more notoriety. You needed, because shamans had the totem that was also nerfed.
But how many people switched to disc crease like IO that were freaking terrible at it?
Okay, hold up.
He fucking what a sideburn.
No, to your point, Lithium. To your point, people were chasing the disc FODM at the same time, right? And
look how poorly all the time.
Look how poorly that played out for anyone that was pugging with disc, right? I'd say 8 out of 10 times it was a fucking disaster because disc is very hard. Whereas Prop Pally is very easy, in my opinion. It's one of the easier tanks.
Yeah.
And the thing I'm trying to say is that like everyone switched because there are people out there who are min-maxing and were right to say Prop Paladin was the best fit, but it wasn't because of this idea that like blood DKs were not sufficient, right? You're blaming the tuning for blood DKs, which you've done 13s before. We'll talk about what has happened this week. You did 13s as a blood DK, right? You probably could do 14s if you really pushed yourself to it. And that's the place where 99% of people are playing. Why worry about what the 1% is arguing about at the top of the ladder?
The only issue I have is the perception of what is meta and what is not versus the capability. I know, but when you're pugging, it's more impactful because now you're having trouble getting into keys.
Make blood meta?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd love that.
That's the point, right? Everyone else, it's like but, I want to have this problem relieved for me, but I want to make it everyone else's problem.
But Lithian, you
What?
like to be a little, you like to be go your own way kind of guy. If they make
Right.
Blood DK meta, you'd want to play whatever the worst fucking thing is. Because
Yeah,
that's what
Or
you always
Master
yeah.
do.
But he doesn't have
What?
any other characters. He deleted them all.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I would love to see a world where I don't want all the tanks to be the same. I want all the tanks to be unique in their own ways and the playstyle to be unique in their own ways. But the capability to do the highest of high keys is available to any tank, right?
Wait, that's the
And
goal always.
and I know that's the goal always, but that's not what happens,
No, it
right?
never
Hold on.
happens.
It is.
I
It is what happens.
No,
feel
fucking
like-
Frank's pulled up his charts, Lithian.
Hold up.
See, you coming in
You-
here, but
hold
we
up.
did this
You-
like every other fucking week for a while.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Before he goes into show that every tank has like a representation of his keys, let me just say,
In fairness,
Blizzard's
Blood is the lowest.
responsibility
Yeah, blood is the
Blizzard's-
lowest.
responsibility is whatever rewards are in an infinitely scaling system. They cannot
Yeah, it's
account for
impossible.
every possibility. If there was an engineering from Shadowlands item that made a dungeon easier, people would get Shadowlands engineering to take it. That's just what they're going to do because they want to get to that 20, 21 level. That doesn't matter what the tuning is.
Here's the point, Lithian.
The
That Blood Death Knight didn't hit 20, which Prop Pally did. However, they're still saying it's a B tier
fucked.
because of all the.
yeah, the issue
That's where
with
you'd put
Blood
the fart
Death
noise.
Knight. Well, the issue with Blood Death Knight in higher keys is the ability to survive certain hits,
Yes,
right?
but Lithian.
And here's the thing, I don't
Cliff, come
care
on, bro.
because here's the deal, and I'll be
You
candid.
don't care.
As
he's still arguing
I'm-
the point.
I'm not going to be pushing the highest keys, okay?
What?
I want to push
Not as a
I
Blood
want to
Death
push
Knight
higher.
anyways.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're going to be meta, you don't know. There's no
Yeah, you don't
changes. So
Yeah, you don't know.
Oh
But-
my god, this is exhausting.
But look, I mean, prop paladins are doing 20s.
But I think Lithian's
But that's
like
not because
sentiment...
they're better. It's because everyone's playing Prop
No,
Paladin.
Lithian's sentiment
Ah.
reflects the majority of people, though. Is like you hate to see your class like having a harder time of doing something that some other donkey is
Frank,
easily flying through, right?
go-
You
go
want it to be
DPS
balanced.
real quick,
Yeah, go DPS.
because you'll see the same thing here. Like, okay, maybe not. The
Oh,
same
look at
thing.
me.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Like, you got like 1 in 20s, a couple in 19s, 18s,
No, but
and then
guys,
it's
let's go back to the because we're arguing two different points. I don't disagree
Okay.
that the whole problem of the community taking the meta over everyone else is a problem. I don't disagree, right?
Yeah.
The problem though is that we're saying Blizzard needs to do something about it. There's absolutely nothing
no, I don't think they do.
Blizzard can do about
They
it.
can't. Yeah, there's nothing they can really do.
Nothing
Ah.
other
Well,
than, as Lithium
no.
pointed out, make me meta, and then I get to have
No,
fun.
no,
and
no,
one else
no.
does.
I don't want
No,
to. I don't want to be meta, but
I think we can agree.
Buff
I mean,
Holy Paladin.
we when we see it, we call it out. When one spec is running away with it, like in a silly way, they normally do kind of balance stuff out. But yeah,
But,
I think as long as there's nothing egregious happening where there's like one spec running away with it, I think we're okay. And then we also talk about the issues of like utility, like the Fury Warrior Arms Warrior problem, which we talk about and our commenters care about a lot. There are things they could do to make it a little bit better.
Okay,
you don't
But-
think warriors are
Okay,
great?
Do they
hold on,
need
hold on,
to?
Hold on. Okay, Lithian. So in that same vein, right? The idea that like they need to tweak, and of course they need to tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak. There has been one outlier that actually got murdered this week, and we even joked, I think, last week that like it was already dead in the water, but there was still some concern that maybe it wasn't, and that's around augmentation. Okay, so I don't, and I even heard this, I think, on the Bench podcast. They were saying like, I don't think there's a single augmentation invokers that was saying I want to be meta next season because they just want this to be put to bed.
Yeah.
But just to recap, augmentation was heavily nerfed. Versatility
Heavily.
effectiveness reduced by 20%. Breath of Eons, which is I guess a huge raid part of their toolkit, nerfed heavily. And then closest clutch mates just essentially shot like out back. Okay. This means that augmentation of all the specs is the only spec that, of my opinion, Blizzard is actively telling the player base, do not play this. They're saying we went overboard on purpose because we do not want to see augmentation anywhere near the meta board. I saw
I
on
mean,
Twitter today, though, someone jokingly saying like Aug's not dead, and they were at the top of the meter, of course, but that doesn't mean necessarily anything.
Yeah, but
bitch.
do you think that the grand plan is to roll out of the support class altogether and just make it fizzle away eventually?
I
And
feel like that
I hope
this is
not.
what they're doing. Like, do you
Yes.
think they're gonna leave it
well,
like this, or do you think they're gonna
I
readjust it? Because
when
this
They might
seems,
they
I would
might
be
nurse
annoyed.
it back to health, but I definitely don't think I personally think that Lithian's right, that they're going to say, okay, we need to rethink this now.
I
I'm fine
wish
with it not being like mega meta. Like that's where it should be. It shouldn't be an auto take, but it also shouldn't be a never take. So they need to strike a
Well,
balance.
yeah, but that's the
I'm
problem, Scrap. When you have like a class that clearly won't be meta,
Yeah.
what is because it's not, I don't, as far as I know, I haven't played it actively. It's not that fun to play. Like it's a pretty easy class to get going.
I
Now, of course,
disagree. I
well,
think
there's
it's really
nuance to
fun.
it. Oh, do you? Okay. And again,
Yeah.
that's subjective. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying though is that it has to have a reason to entice people to play something that is entirely different from the rest of the DPS toolkits.
Yeah.
But the problem is that I think that it's very clear now that even if you focus on over-indexing in the defensive nature and the utility nature of what they can bring, unless they do dog shit doo-doo DPS, which means that most people will say, well, I don't care. I don't want to play the support class then.
Yeah.
It's not going to be chosen. So it like, is it worth the endeavor anymore to say that? I personally would say I don't care in the slightest about augmentation. I would say that it was nice to have them in keys because they did usually make the keys feel easier. That's no longer the
Yeah.
case, it seems.
Because they help the healer and the tank
no,
also.
what
Not anymore
So
though. Not anymore.
yeah, I know that's
but
why I would
Yeah.
take it.
what they should have done, in my opinion, was create a slot in a group for a support class and have
Yeah.
multiple support classes out there that can slot into that, just like a tank, just like a
That could be the
healer.
case though.
That's genuinely
That's what they
yeah.
should have done out the gate.
That's what I would
Yes, but
prefer they do instead of gutting it and saying, actually, we made a mistake. I would rather them lean into it and say, like, actually, there's a lot of support classes to choose from, and it is a good choice to have a support,
Let me bring another person into eTeam and have them
Oh,
be
you
a
want to have
support
a
class.
6-person
I
dungeon?
would rather.
Well, I don't know, because right now, if you have an Aug and one of the DPS dies,
Yeah.
it's
It's a
bad
huge
times,
risk.
man.
Yeah, this is what I would like to see. So, like in PvP, like if you're doing a 2s or 3s team, like you can have a DPS and healer. You can have 2 DPS. If you have a 3s team, you could even have a tank sometimes. But like there are things that are like it's valid to bring different like variations and stuff. So I'd like to see like 2 different styles of play where one you have a support and it's just as good as bringing 3 DPS. Like you may have that like a risk reward thing, like if a DPS dies and the support doesn't do as well, but it shouldn't be like this makes keys so mega easy. There might be a meta shift where it's like, okay, this time the support is a little bit better and this time is that. But yeah, having one class with all this weight on it to be like carrying this whole concept is tough. And it does look like they're going the direction of saying, oops, JK, which I think is disappointing.
I'm hoping that they, if they're gonna rework it, do that. But I'd like to see them cook on it a little bit more, and maybe even if it involves them making other support classes, because it's a 20-year-old game. It's nice to see them have new ideas come into the game every once in a while, and they're not always going to be great when they come out. So I'd like to see them work on it a little bit more and just see if they can't figure something out with it. And if that has to do with adding more in or switching up other specs to kind of fit that style, I'd be okay with that.
I think the general consensus is we want to encourage them to take risks, which is how everyone felt going into season 2 and season 3 of Dragonflight. The problem was that it was very clearly a problem even coming into season 1 of The War Within, not just season 4 of Dragonflight. And it's now taken, and granted, maybe they thought like we could. I don't want to punish them for thinking like let's salvage this. But they also didn't communicate with the with Blue Post to saying like, hey guys, we know this is a problem and we're continuing to tweak and here's our thought process. Because what ends up happening is resentment as people are forced to become augmentation. You say that it would be nice if there was just a 5th spot that was like a support role. Well, it sounds like for most seasons that was the case. And then you start
but you
thinking
had to play Aug.
Yeah, you had to play Aug, you had to have a tank, you had to have a healer. And then, of course, the 2 were just whoever the Augs supported better, which also left a lot of classes out of the meta conversation because they didn't scale. And so, yeah, like the thing that I'd say is I think the solution to go forward that would be exciting is to, yes, open up maybe 3 or 4 more support specs on other classes, but then we start saying, okay, well now we have 45 specs as opposed to the 39 or
And
whatever.
also, then they can't walk it back. Like,
Well,
and
yeah,
then it's
then
fucked.
Pandora's
Yeah.
box is wide open.
Yep.
But it seems to be the overall the consensus from the community, including our own, that they just want this spec deleted.
I think here's what they need to do. They need to have like a big election with like an electoral
Election.
college, and they
Oh
need to
my
have the
God.
servers have like
No.
the servers have a different amount of electoral votes, and everybody votes
Oh,
Aug or no
no.
Aug,
People
and there's
don't,
campaigning and
people
What
don't
a
talk about it as
wonky
much, but I
idea.
think another place Aug fails is, you need them in the higher keys, but you don't even want to take them in the lower keys because they don't
No.
really. You want the damage from the third DPS. So
Well, this
if
is
you're just a casual Aug player, that feels bad because you're just like, I'm just trying to do my 10s and no one will take me.
well, and even then,
Yeah.
WoW Op is like also shooting them in the foot because people usually don't, whether it be the fault of their own gameplay or maybe even the fault of the DPS who are just like being donkeys in their keys with them. It reflects on their WoW Op score that they're like, because that's where I keep
do they do
looking.
less damage and stuff?
When
Yeah.
I was trying to push the IO up to like my 13s, I would bring in an augmentation evoker that would have a good score and their WoW Up score, let's just call it say decent. But immediately people would leave the group and going, no, I'm not risking it because there's too many bad augmentation evokers
Yeah.
out there. I
Mhm.
don't think that it's worth it anymore because I
Yeah.
need to trust them essentially, right? Same thing with like how I feel about disc priests.
It would be
Um,
nice if
Mhm.
one of us played Aug. I mean, I definitely like the idea of playing Aug. Like, I like the idea of being a support class, but I didn't like how Aug played the very brief time I played it.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, oh, it's not really for me, But if we could get somebody in our community who was like a regular Aug, I mean, Hayward was doing it a while, but he found it dull. And that guy plays BM Hunter, so like finding Aug dull is very telling.
I
Like,
played it near the end of Dragonflight, and I actually really enjoyed it because since I mostly heal, having a DPS that had different jobs that was just doing damage was actually a lot of fun. But I know not everyone who plays DPS wants to do that. They want to do the big damage, so I can see how it doesn't appeal to everybody.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like I think it's true that you're not alone in that camp. There are probably a lot of people who do enjoy it, but it's a small slice of the overall population that we go back to that conversation of now I have to find a tank, now I have to find a healer, which is already
Yeah.
arguably people are complaining about too hard. And then I
Yeah.
have to find an Aug or a support even. Because let's say they release a mage support and a probably I don't know,
Hunter.
priest support, hunter support, right?
Yeah.
But those are even worse gameplay wise, right? Like
Yeah.
I think of as a mage, it'd probably be some like spell warden, time rewinding ish,
That'd be cool.
right? Cool thematically, but what if it's like I literally just have to keep holding down a button to rewind time, and it's just what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I mean, it's they already have so many specs. I mean, I think the cleanest way they would do it is change specs to do it, like make disc into a support class or something like that. But then that would hurt a lot of people who are like mega fans. Like if they turn survival into support spec, I would be pissed because it's like I'm like the one person who
Well, we
enjoys
don't need
it,
to
you
talk
know.
about because you and your Discord buddies are just like shitting all over on why you're
No,
surviving.
it's
Oh
very
my God.
contentious. People are like, it's fine, and everybody's like, it's not fine. It's the survival Discord is a strange place. I would say
Every
for the
every
most part.
class Discord is a strange place.
No, the Fury Discord
Yeah.
is awesome.
They're chill. They're chill.
They're
but
so chill. They don't
my
care about
my,
anything.
my friend Jason Pally said he was willing to play Aug. I don't know if you guys know that guy.
If they
Jason Valley, Shawnee.
Ja-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blizzard needs to look at themselves in the mirror and go, is there a way we can reasonably fix this? And if they don't have a good answer, then yeah, they should just either redesign it to be a more traditional
DPS.
DPS or move it to a tank
Yeah,
or
move to a tank
just
would be my guess.
Move it to a tank. We need more tanks. Fuck.
Because a black dragon scale, tank makes sense. Okay.
which
Yeah.
so before we switch on to something else real quick, before we got on the AUG thing, we were talking about the tier sets and how people might need to wait 30 eye levels before they switch. Do you think it's more likely that they would just nerf last season's tier sets as opposed to buff these ones? Because I
Yes.
feel like that'd be
Oh
easier.
yeah, they
That's
will.
it's so annoying though, because then it's like you don't get to the excitement of having a tier set gives you a lot of power. It's like,
Well, you will
well,
once
now I
you get
have.
nerfed.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
exactly. But that feels really bad. Like I
No,
feel like
but
they should.
The reason
But
why
then
is
they don't have
because,
to buff everybody's.
well, not only that, but it's like they've got this equation essentially, right? This algorithm or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, let's not rebuild the whole thing just because we made a mistake in the past. Let's just fix the
Yeah.
past and then we'll, go from there. But I do
Yeah.
think they will be buffing some of them because the whole experiment of this jackpot is hindering on them doing good tuning. If they
Yeah.
don't do good tuning like they did even with Scrap's tier set endeavors in the past, which granted
Yeah.
that was a season 4 tier set, right,
That
Scrap?
was season 4, but
Yeah.
I did not really play that season because I was so upset by that. Like that was I did
don't.
not like
Yeah.
that.
Anyways, okay, let's keep moving. So this is just some more PSA stuff, but someone said that they did this before, but I don't think they did. Where they
They do it
essentially
at the
nuked.
beginning of like expansion, don't they?
Well,
No,
yeah,
you don't get it
because
during
well,
0.
yeah, because there's nothing open.
That makes sense.
But usually what they'll do is they'll say we're dropping at 8 keys, we're dropping at 5 keys, we're dropping at 10
Yeah.
keys. I don't think they've ever done it back down to 0, +2.
I don't
That
think they have
said,
either, but I might be wrong. Well, I
I
think
don't
because of the way
remember.
they fucked up
They
keys this week, they maybe had to do
well, we'll get to
they
that in a second.
didn't. Well, they didn't do it before. I know, like season 3 of Dragonflight, you got 10 key levels lower than what you had the last season. But since they did the squish, maybe they just do it from 2 because it's easier.
I don't
Well,
mind this. This is fine.
well, and I was gonna say
Yeah.
the real thing is I don't care, especially since we'll talk about what season 1 looks like in just a second. But like I kind of like the idea that it's like it's okay, just take it a little bit easy and don't worry about literally Zerg rushing to a 10. Which, by the way, based
Yeah.
on what I'm hearing from the streamers, is these are actually because everyone seems to be doing 14s on the streams, right? I haven't seen anyone do anything higher, which is concerning because everyone on PTR has effectively best in slot gear, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if they're only doing 14s, what does that mean for the actual
Well,
difficulties going into these new dungeons? Even though they keep nerfing
they
them like crazy.
well, they don't have they don't know what the meta is yet. They don't know what they're bringing all the time. People might not be trying so hard.
Yeah,
It's PTR,
meta's
so
not
I
going to
think
push
we'll
us
see.
from
No.
14s to
But also,
16s.
They
don't forget, 14s are like 2 key levels lower, so it's actually like they're doing 12s from this season.
Yeah,
12s at the
but
beginning
that's
of
my
last
point.
season
That's
were
the highest they
hard.
can push.
Yeah.
No, I mean PTR has the new tuning, but they have the best in slot gear. They've realized that, like Vengeance Demon Hunter is going to be S tier, right? They know
Yeah.
what's going to be good based on their testing, and they got like a comp with some of their, like I watch Yoda and they're doing some pretty high keys, 16s and stuff, but
Oh, are they? Okay. I haven't seen
they're doing them, but they're not always timing them, right? they're completing them. But I think they're revealing some of the bigger challenges, and that's why you see some of the tuning that's happening, where they start to tune things down a little bit because we do want to be pushing higher than that in the next season, right? So I don't know. It's just all about tuning.
Well, also, look at how this past season went, where like in November, December on the podcast, we were saying, I don't even know if we're going to hit 3K because 12s are very, very hard, right? And
Yeah.
that we already had pretty much the best gear, like by December. And then there was some tuning and some ring, which we debate about and stuff. And then we were pushing a little higher, like up to
The
13s
2%
and
ring?
stuff.
The ring.
I'm telling you, no, I'm telling you, you can look at the
What an
look at the
absolute donkey.
look at the
Jesus
calendar. That's when we
Christ.
switched up, and we were like, okay, 3K is
Or
within
we
sight.
just
We can
started.
do 3K.
Oh
And
my
then we have
gosh.
this week, and now it's just like forget it. It's so silly that we're pushing like stupid
Don't
keys.
get to that. We'll just get to that in a
I
second.
well, we're gonna only
But-
have to briefly talk about
Scrap,
it.
to your
But
point though, yes, it was the same like feeling, especially from the general community of like I can't even do 10s, right? But
Mhm.
they also are not trying to make keys nearly as hard as a result of the smoothing out of all this stuff, anyways, and all
Yeah.
the nerfs you're seeing on the dungeons. So yes, I do agree that they will be doing 18s or whatever they will be doing long
Yeah,
before.
they will be.
Yeah.
But they are warning us that these are going to be hard. And so
It's good.
I'm confused
They are hard.
to lead us into our next topic, which is I'm confused by that because once they introduce the new key level system, season 1, which is officially over, but
This is
still,
coming out on Monday, right?
yes, it's coming out on Monday.
Tuesday.
So let's
No,
keep
Monday.
this kind of brief because people have missed their window here
Well-
by the
well-
time we're talking about this. But
So here's the thing. I will tell it from my perspective, and then you guys can jump in and talk about what we did as
Sure.
a group. I got on Tuesday as soon as the patch opened up, right? It was like I think 6 or 7 o'clock. And I just did a very quick key. It was like an 11 aura or something like that.
Yep.
And we +3'd it to the point where like it was not only fast, but it was super fast. Like we did it like 40% of the time needed or something like that.
Yeah.
And I go like, what the fuck was that? Now, granted,
Yeah,
we
what
were
was
we
that?
were all doing a little more DPS, but not a lot more. And granted, I was
Mhm.
still learning my class and all that stuff. So then I queued up to I think it was a 13 necrotic wake, and then I plus 2'd that. I was like, wait a second, and it felt
Wait,
very
whoa.
easy. It felt
Yeah.
like I think we even had like a wipe, and like it's like, dude, fine, we got like 8 hours left. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So I say to you all, I say to Lithian and Scrapclaw, and I ask you, I know you weren't in the group, but I think you were, listening and whatnot. But I'm like, guys, don't worry. This is significantly easier. Scrap is
Yeah.
worried. She goes, no, let's not go crazy. Let's just warm up on
Well,
a 12 dom.
my changes were a little upsetting to me
Yeah.
at first.
Oh my god.
Go back
I
and
won't
watch that
rehash.
stream just to hear that.
No, I won't. But I was misery dooming, and like I'm gonna do no damage, and I was heartbroken. But it's not that bad. It's okay. So, but yeah,
So
I didn't want to do
aside,
anything
right?
high.
Aside, you wanted to start with a warm up key, which I think was a fair ask.
It was a 12, which is like a good warm up,
And
like
and we, I think we plus 3'd it.
we plus 2'd it.
Plus
No, we
2'd it,
plus
okay.
2'd
Plus
it.
2'd it, right?
Yeah.
But you immediately acknowledged what, and not only that, but you also said don't put this on WoW up because you were embarrassed with how bad you were doing, right?
I was having some adjustment
And
issues.
so we could have plus 3'd it, I'd argue. But anyways, you
Yeah.
immediately go like, what the hell's going on? So we then jump into a necrotic
14.
wake, 14.
Yep.
Yep. We do a necrotic wake 14. We plus 2'd it to get
We
a
plus 2'd
16
it.
City of Threads. Okay.
And we
I
even
wanna-
had that horrible bug and some mistakes and things, and we plus 2 to 14,
We'll talk about the
which
bugs
is like,
in a second.
what?
But to point out that just so everyone knows, the highest key I had done was I think a 14 Aura maybe.
You did Aura, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Scrap you had any high 14s. Lithian you'd done
Nah,
13s.
I'd done
right?
13s.
Yeah.
13.
So like, and that 14 was 14 Aura, which is the easiest key, but it was still like no slouch. We blitzed through the necrotic wake to go to a 16 City of Threads, which City of Threads
No,
arguably is the
Siege.
hardest.
Siege
Oh, was it
Morale.
Siege? Yeah, that's right.
16
Siege. Yeah,
yeah.
Siege. We fucked around on the Siege and had to restart it, but I'd
Yeah.
argue we probably, if we had really gotten our shit together, probably
Because
could've
we
done it.
timed the 15 comfortably. We
Yeah.
had like 2 minutes left.
So then we do the
Some
15,
reindeer games.
which
Yeah.
ended up in that 15 we had some reindeer games going on.
Yeah,
We had
Um,
some deaths. Yeah, we fucked up a
So
lot.
we get the 15 done. We get a 16 City of Threads then, right?
Oh yeah, that's where the City Threads came from.
And then
Yeah.
did we try? No, we dropped it to a 14, right?
Yeah.
And we did
Yeah,
a
I think
14
so.
City of Threads, and that was Scrap. I know you kept
was
saying
easy.
like wow, Haywire is like a god, right? But
Yeah.
and not to take away like obviously healing
Haywire
any
is
City of
a
Threads.
god healer.
right?
so-
But
He did
for
good.
me, it didn't feel that intensive on the defensives like I
No,
normally do.
and City of Threads like a 12. Like the week before, we were trying to get a 12 done, and we were struggling to get a fucking 12 timed. Like
So
1
point
week
is,
prior.
They and this is as a result of, and I'll show you real quick. So here's what season 1's modifiers look like. So just to give context, a 13 would be plus 214% damage and health. To what is now a plus 13 is only 145. So in comparison, 145 is what a plus 10 effectively felt like. So
Stupid.
doing a 13 is what a plus 10 felt like prior to last
I mean,
week,
we're
okay?
smashing them. Like I just to put in
Absolutely
perspective,
decimating them.
last night when we
Well.
just did keys, I did 1 key last week and I was kind of over it, and then this week, it feels so free. I went up 170 points in IO in 1 day.
So here's
Like,
here's our current leaderboard in the guild.
oh, you
right?
passed it, you fuck.
Of course I did.
Yeah, I mean it's
I-
free. It's anyone's game right now. Like
I not
Yeah.
only did a 16, but I plus 2 to 16 today.
shut up.
Right? That's how free it is. And by the way, this was, and I'm not, maybe the healer had a hard time and I just don't know it, but this was not very difficult to do.
No.
we made
Were you
mistakes.
even close to
and
plus
so-
3ing it?
I would say because there was like the shaman kept dying and the tank was doing some kind of weird things with the route.
Yeah.
But yeah, we maybe could have. I don't think we'd been close though.
Yeah.
To the point where I know you said you jumped 100 and some odd points. Scrap. I'm now. Oh
170
well,
points.
I dropped 2 spots, but I was in the
How
top.
people are
50.
finding out.
Yeah, I was in the
Of
top
the-
50 of arcade
the
mages
world.
in the world.
Yeah, I
Right?
don't know why people aren't jumping on this. I mean, I'm telling everybody who comes to Discord, I'm like, do keys, it's free, it's so fun. But
Oh
I mean,
my
we talked,
God,
like
who
Reef was in here
cares?
earlier, and she's kind of like, she seemed like, oh, like I don't want to do keys because they ruined it. And I do feel a little bit like that. Like I feel like this is
No.
stupid,
No.
and I would totally
No,
be
have
fine if they
fun.
reverted. Well, I'm having fun, but I also acknowledge that this is fucking dumb. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like that, it kind of makes me not want to play until the last week of next season, right? Because it's like the points don't matter. But I was thinking about this. I think this is kind of healthy for the game because I think we get too fixated on points and like getting 10 points, getting 5 points. I need to be 1 point higher than Frank, you know? When we're like
Yeah,
similar
hold on,
skill level.
Scrap. Can we talk about that for
What?
just a second?
What?
Documented multiple times on this podcast where you said, I'm done, it's over. And then you said, if you pass me, it's over. And I immediately, because I already started getting pushed before you even got on that day, right? I immediately said, I think it was to Shani or maybe to Haywire. I go, the second she finds out, she's going to try to overtake me again.
Well,
And
it's just because it was free. I don't want to like
fucking you donkey
so
reindeer bitch.
Frank, I do joke
Oh
with
my
you like,
God.
oh, like I want to pass you and stuff, but really, like the genuine thing is I'm playing against myself. When it starts to get too hard, I'm done. Like I'm
Sure,
like
sure.
I don't want to feel like I'm being carried, and I don't want to feel too stressed, right?
Yeah,
So if you're pushing past that point and I'm like feeling stressed, I'm like I'll just let you have it. I'm cool. Like it's not a big deal to me, right? But
Way to
right
just
now,
dilute my win.
no, not delete. I don't mean to delete your win. I'm pulling away the curtain a little bit because I don't actually like you know crazy.
That just
Like I
makes
don't
you a
actually
terrible
care.
competitor, though.
No. I enjoy the competition. I love to trash talk and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm playing against myself. Like I want to do better and stuff. Now this is like if they're handing me points for free, completely for free, and it's also fun. I made a bad analogy before about like, punching a kindergartner. I don't really know what a better one is,
Oh
but
my
it's like
God.
it is like it's like I've been being bullied by these fucking keys all season, and now I get to be the bully. Is what it feels like. Like I get to fucking
Yeah,
steamroll this horse shit that was kicking my teeth in. So I'm having fun this week. I don't. If they revert all the points this week, I will not be upset. Like I will not
They
feel like
won't.
my
They
time is
won't.
wasted getting 170 or 200 or 300 points. We'll see by the end of the
Well,
week. But
Scrap only does things until it gets too hard. Once it
yeah,
gets too hard, she retires,
yeah,
and like we don't know this. It happens every season. You know,
yeah.
you get to a point and she says, "I'm retired," and she's going into season 2 saying, "I'm retired."
Yes.
And so it's like, let me set expectations here, and then when the competition happens, I'm gonna talk trash and compete and
Yeah, yeah.
make Frank feel like shit all day long because that's a
You
great
and I talked
pastime.
last night after Frank went to bed is like, oh, I could go to bed, but think about how funny it would be to wake up Frank with having beat his score. And
It
I was
was
like, ooh, I kind of want to
genuinely
do that.
the very first thing I looked at when I woke up. I said, "Oh,
You
pull radar out,
see,
see what she did."
I knew
Which, by
that
the
when
way,
I was
guys,
staying
she
up
was
way
running
too
keys
late
at
last
5
night.
a.m.
I know. Well, keep in mind,
Oh
I
my
go into work
God, dude.
later than anybody, so it wasn't that degenerate. But oh my God, was I tired tomorrow because I haven't done that, or the next day because I haven't done that in a while.
So
But yeah, I was thinking that whole time. I was like, I can't wait for Frank to wake up and immediately look at his phone because I fucking know you and see that I passed him. But yeah,
all right.
but we both know that it's anybody's game. Like it's just a matter of time. Like you could pass
Well,
me, I could pass you.
yeah,
Like
don't worry about like the competition. We promised ourselves we weren't going to do it again because we wanted to keep. We had more fun playing together last night than I
Yeah.
think any of the competitions were
I think
allowing us to.
next season, let's
Nice.
make a pact to play all together more. You know, like
Well,
I'm probably
or not to
still
make
gonna
it an
break
effort
that pact.
to worry about it. You know.
You're probably still gonna catch me pugging in the middle of the night
Yeah,
being
yeah.
an asshole, but
As I
I want
will,
to
when I'm lunch
I want to be
hour.
checked by you guys. I want you to say, "Hey, let's do that together," you know, because I think we have more fun
But
together,
here's the
right?
thing, Scrap. Here's the thing.
What?
Lithium loses aggro after 40 seconds, and that worries me.
Well, tell the survival devs
Worries
to
me
meet us
too.
next to the wildfire bum lunar storm interaction, and I'll misdirect at the beginning of the poll instead.
Okay.
That's really what it comes down to.
But here's the thing. So I jokingly said when we first started the keys, I said, well, I'm going to try to get the 0.1% title. I know the title's already been given away. It says here this is a snapshot that's already been completed. However, who knows? Maybe there's a bug.
Wait, the titles already got given away?
According to Radar.io, yeah.
Okay, got it.
But who knows? Maybe there's a bug, right? Because here's the thing. It says here that it's like the top, or this is what the score you can expect to be the cutoff. And when I look at the arcane mages, only one arcane mage would have qualified with that score. However, when you Lo-Fi Banshee on Twitter, she posted like how many people actually got the title. and 8 arcane mages. So the top 8 arcane mages, I assume.
So it's a little variable.
There's obviously some gray area.
Yeah, gray
And
area.
so again, part of me is like, well, maybe there's some gray area when Blizzard just starts handing things out. So
If they
I
already hand
jokingly
out
said,
titles, can people lose title? Like you're no longer in the
no.
cutoff. Just goes away.
Here's the thing. I jokingly said I'm gonna get it, and you said absolutely not. But I wanted to ask the question again. Now that you've seen it in full action, because this cutoff is around 16s and 17s.
Yeah.
Do you think it's not possible for you to go get the title?
How many points did you get for plus 2ing a 16?
Like
if you
want to do
434.
math in the middle.
If you timed all 16s, not plus 2, would you get? We be in that range?
Let's see. Do the calculator real quick.
I mean, you can just look at
8.
Yeah.
Look at the
yes,
keys.
you would. Yes, you would.
No. Do 420 times 8 because you're not gonna plus 2 all of them presumably.
Okay. That'd be 420.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
420. Yeah.
because it's like 11
Plays it.
points. You would be just short of it. You'd be
I think
be about
16s.
80 points away.
I tried a 16 last night, and then we did try that one, and 16s feel about what 13s felt like last week.
I don't even
like.
think that's the case because look, this is 15 at 196, and a 13 was 214. So it's like
yeah, no, that's
a
what I'm
bit
saying is that
less.
16s don't feel very hard.
No.
Now here's what I kind of expected to happen, but don't see it happening. I thought people would be rushing to bump their score up artificially, but it seems like only us. Like, is there something wrong with us?
There's something wrong with you.
Well, something Reef said, and I'm sorry if I'm thinking I can't remember what she said, but we were talking about like, it doesn't feel right to get the score, and it's like, I don't care. Like, if they're giving it away for free, I'll take it.
Any way to cheat.
Any way to cheat, yeah.
No, here's the thing, Scrap. Because we can play, and Lithian and I ask you, I recommend this because you guys complain about playing the non-meta tank or healer. Putting as much score as you can right now will be on your tag.
Your report card.
All next Raider IO season.
Every
time you queue up, it'll say season 1. 30 whatever 3300
32 33 yeah.
And you will have a better chance of getting in. So that's my tip of the week to everyone is even if you're not playing in the 16s like
it's too late. It's gonna come out on Monday.
No,
you missed your shot. That's your tip.
You got 150 points in one night. Why can't they do the same?
I got 170 points in one night.
So what are you talking about? Monday night, and honestly it's Monday afternoon when this will come out.
So here's the problem. Why I played so late last night, because I recognized there would be a problem of a lot of donkeys were going to get score. So like people like us. But right now, there's people who actually legitimately earned like 3,200 that are still in the keys at 3,200.
Well,
and I want to get those people.
They're waiting till the season starts. They don't know what's happening.
No, I know, but I'm just like when I'm pugging and I'm looking at applicants,
yeah.
I'm seeing people applying at 3,200, and I don't know, did they just get that and they're donkeys like me, or are they? Did they get it legit? Well, I'm not gonna do that. That's too much of a pain. But I want to get in on this early before everybody finds out and donkeys up the keys.
Research like a donkey. You're gonna play with donkeys. That's what
I will say though, I was really impatient and pugged out my keys. Like I was doing 14, and I just took a bunch of like 2,800 people because I was like, I don't give a fuck. And we +2 to 14 with a bunch of 2,800 people. So
Well, yeah. Look at what a 14 is now.
Exactly. Like people who are 2,800 are completely equipped and qualified to do a 14. Take those people. It's fine. They're not gonna.
You know what? I'm pushing with my friends next season, so I don't care.
But here's the thing: are they 2,800 because of the new changes now? Because that would make them.
You're that person.
I know. Well, I know, but that's the thing. I want to.
Are you saying people shouldn't trust their friends?
Oh my gosh.
I'm saying you had to get on this early, so by the time you're seeing this podcast, it's too late.
You don't have to do this. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, you don't. So that's the thing. Is that that's why I was saying this is a little bit healthy, because it does kind of say, hey, points don't really matter, because it doesn't matter. You're not going to know if somebody got it at when it was hard or when it was easy at the end of the day next season when you see that tag by your name. So don't sweat so hard in the middle of the season over 5 points, 10 points. Just do the level that you feel like you're being challenged at, that you feel excited that you're pushing yourself at, and don't worry about the points. That's my advice.
Here's the other thing to take away from this. So with next season, if you push all 12s, 13s, whatever, you won't lose your key any lower than that. So
I love that.
It looks like we will be going into 12s and 13s and 14s at whatever point in the season. But now as an eTeam, we don't have to worry about being donkeys and screwing up someone's key. we can
No.
start
Yeah.
actually pushing together. And I think that
I
is going to
think
be
yeah.
so much better for us in
It's
an
so
environment where
healthy
we won't
for
get angry when,
yeah.
you know, Shawnee does a reindeer game pull at the start of season
Oh
5.
my
Shawnee.
gosh. That's
um
Jason to you.
so I will say this is going to be really healthy for Mythic Plus teams because something we've always had struggled with. You know, we have
And
kind of
Pugs.
a revolving team, you know, like not everybody's on every day and stuff, so we bring people
Well,
in.
and I ask
But
you, is in every one of our best friends, but he's not a part of eTeam officially, right? So
well,
like
he's
we're always
eTeam.
bringing.
I would say he's what do you call it when they're like
E-team adjacent.
no, not adjacent. What do you call it? If it's like on the side and you pull people
Oh,
in,
he's
not the
like
bench.
I'm Kimmy Gibbler.
Retention, not retention. What
Kimmy,
is it?
Kimmy, did you just full house? Is that what?
Full house.
Yeah.
No. It's like what's the
Jesus.
word where you
Well,
have
we got him
people
on
on
retainer.
Reserve.
on retainer? Yeah, on reserves. Yeah, he's eTeam reserves, right? So, and that's good is that we practice with more people. But one thing we always struggle with, there's always some mechanic that we fucking struggle with, and we can't agree how to do it. This season, it was the City of Threads, the first boss,
No
and
one
we would
disagrees, Scrap.
finally.
We were all fine. You just kept
No,
panicking.
Yeah.
you fucking dogs! I'm so annoyed. Like because
Your strat was dumb.
no, we did it by the end of the season. I said by the end of the season we're gonna be doing it my fucking way because you guys are just being
Oh my
assholes.
gosh.
Well, what I'm saying is that we would get the 11 or 12 or whatever we were pushing at the time and getting struggle, and we'd immediately whiff it, and then we can't try it again at that level seriously. You know, once
No,
we
you have to
break
drop
it.
it.
Well, yeah, but also when we're just like, okay, let's just finish it, but then we're not like our heart's not in it. We're not in the pushing mentality, and we're just fucking up repeatedly.
Yeah, because now we
Like
have to do
this will
homework to get us back.
this will give us a chance to say like, hey, let's try that again. Let's run it again.
Yeah,
Let's try a
run it
different
back.
strategy. Yeah, let's run it back. And I think that's really healthy. That's something we miss out on. Like you don't get to practice keys. You get one and it's done. And you fuck
Yep.
it up and you have to wait until somebody else miraculously gets that key. And by then it's soft in your mind. This is so good for teams and team building and teaching people, like saying like we're gonna keep running it till we get it. And it rewards people who persevere, like me and Lithian in our 2-hour play call.
Well, yeah,
you know?
not all of us have that perseverance. I'm not gonna say any names, but there are some folks that don't like that.
Well, don't say any names, Lithian.
That
You're pushing it.
He's looking at
that,
Ioski right now on camera, by the way.
Oh, is he? No, Io's a
No.
perseverer, dude. He's got the juice.
like
He plays
who
preservation.
rage quits? Who rage quits in the middle of a key that is also part of our community? And
Are you talking about technique?
And
Definitely technique.
yeah, it was technique.
Nate drops the
Technique
shit
doesn't
out of
watch
technique. He
technique.
deserves all of
Yeah.
that.
That was
Shit.
technique. That was technique.
Sorry,
not the
Hackney.
same
No,
person.
technique has
No,
fucking done it all.
technique did it a long time ago in that
In a
one
playful.
dungeon.
By the way,
one Sandy.
So hold
Yeah,
on. So
the
this
dogs.
is when
I was
technique.
in that one, Lithian.
This is when technique first officially kind of started playing because his brother's always been playing with us. And
Yeah.
that night when you guys did that, the other side, I think it was like a
the other
plus
side.
15. It wasn't even like a plus
man.
20.
It was a chill vibes after raid key. It was
Scrap.
supposed to
It
be
was.
good
He
vibes.
texted me. It was like midnight. He texted me. He goes, "Who the fuck is Scrapclaw and why doesn't she shut the fuck up?" Right?
Oh
You
my
two
God.
were
Funny.
butting heads. I know you don't care because you never care.
Well, because I knew what he was supposed to do and he wasn't doing it. Like I remember that dungeon clear as day because
just a little
it-
MDL lore.
Yeah, I remember that dungeon clear as day because Sarah was in it too, and
Yep.
like
Yeah.
at this point, you know, we've been doing a lot of keys to the community, and it was kind of like I understood that if you fuck up and stuff, you keep trying, you make it an all night thing, like until we figure it out, we hash it
You-
out,
you
and like if
play
I tell
Fallout
you,
up.
yeah, and if I tell you, hey, this is how I've seen it done, you know, you would like listen to that because I do a lot of keys or whatever. But he messed up multiple times, and he might dispute how the story goes, but this is how I remember it. We didn't even get to a fucking boss, I don't think. Like we messed up a bunch of things, and it wasn't like just us; it was also him. And he was just like, "I ain't doing this," and just left. And we were all kind of like,
Yeah.
"Wait, you can do that?" Like, what the fuck? So that's kind of how I got to know technique. But I will say I love playing with technique. He's generally 95% of the time a very chill dungeon guy to go with. Just
He's a
every
wild
now and
card.
then he knows when to put his foot down and say, "I ain't doing that shit." And he will just leave.
He is the epitome of
Yep.
not looking at the routes and
Yep.
vehemently dying on the hill of why his route is superior, despite the
Yep.
fact that
Yeah.
like we've done MDL runs where we like race and he usually loses because he's doing something that is like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. He's creative. We'll give him that.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. I think we got to talk about everything we wanted to talk about.
I think so. Oh, we're excited for the raid. Is the raid next
Oh
week?
god, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So okay, should we quickly talk about how we were thinking about maybe doing a pool to buy in to guess how many pools and how many weeks it'll take to kill the
Uh, yeah, if you want to organize that, I'm totally down
Well,
with
let's
it.
make our
I think
predictions right now though. How many pools do you think it'll take to
historically,
clear the last
you
boss?
can look at all our like as it we mind you, we had a rotating cast of characters come in and out, but we have the same core since Shadowlands, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it
That's
generally
fair.
takes us about 100 pulls, plus or minus. So
I'm
I would definitely around 100 is where I would probably put it earlier, since we have a lot of people. We are now experienced. We have a lot of returning people this time,
I'm
who are
going
excited about
10
raiding.
107.
I think
107.
I don't
I'm
know too
gonna
much
go.
about the fight, so I'm
I'm
gonna
going
default to
90.
Frank and Lithian on this one
90.
because I
Yeah,
feel like they know the mechanics.
I think higher is better though, because you can put your thumb on the scale a little bit, like if you're like
Eh.
close.
Oh, we're at 90. All of a sudden, the
Yeah,
tank
all of a
dies. I don't
sudden,
know. I don't know.
I don't know. That's the thing. My instinct is to go higher because again, there's that thumb on the scale. I could whisper Lithia and say, "I'll give you something like 10,000 gold or whatever." If you throw some pulls, I throw some pulls, whatever. But I think realistically, good faith, I think around 90 is what I would put it at.
Yeah, I'm saying 107, man.
Isn't it?
107.
107, I think, is a really lovely number.
I
It
think
is. It's a
that's way
nice
too
number.
high. I think it's gonna be an
Eh.
easier raid.
I think this is gonna be an easier raid also, because again,
Bro,
we rarely have the same raid group going into the next season. Like normally we have like falling outs and people quitting and blah blah blah. It seems like a lot of our core is sticking with us this season, and
Yes,
a lot of our
we
core
are
are
taking on.
good.
This is actually something that we did notice even in the last one, and I'm not going to name any names because I don't want anyone to feel
Yeah.
a certain way. But we do pretty much take anyone and everyone that wants to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't really comb through any of that as a problem until we hit a point where it's like, okay, now we're up against the wall. Like last in Nerubar Palace, I
Yep.
had to cut 3 people, and within like an evening, we had it down. Right? I think we
Yeah.
even got it done
Yeah.
the next night. Right?
And then
But
the
then
week
we immediately
later,
bring
we
them
brought
back
everyone
in.
back.
Yeah, we brought it back.
Yeah, we brought it back.
Yeah,
The,
we
the
killed
thing
it.
is that we need the core to learn the mechanics, so that we were getting to the phase where we need to learn the mechanics,
Well,
and
I don't
then we
even think
can
it's-
like when
well-
we killed it, I was on the ground.
Well, yeah, but
so-
scrap. Well, that's because you
Yeah.
also like were showing up late every day. But
Right,
that's the
of
thing.
course.
It's like I don't even think it's the core, because we get to a point now where we've got the dance down. Now there are people
Yeah.
who continue to fail at it, and then that's where I have a conversation. But it's more of just that like we're also carrying people who are doing, and I ask you, I'm going to refer to your friend not by name, but you know, who doing such
Don't
bad
refer to his
DPS.
friend.
Remember,
I don't talk to them anymore,
yeah, I
so
know.
it's fine.
But they were doing such bad DPS, and then they got also extremely offended at the idea that I would even recommend that we have to bench them because they're doing such bad DPS. Because apparently they think they're going to win a raid by health stones.
Stop,
But
Frank.
anyways,
You're getting too personal.
yeah. But anyways,
You're so
the
upset.
point is though that I don't, even with the fact that I think we're going to take anyone and everyone that wants to come along, and I think we'll have a full raid even this go round.
Definitely.
We will have people drop off, of course, but that's not the part where we start, with the pull counts. To get to 107, it's really going to be that there's like a part of the raid or part of the fight that is so complex that we're not comprehending it, right? Like it's
yeah.
Well,
we need to. Every single person needs to learn it by themselves.
I've watched the raid fight on what they predict to be the raid fight. I shouldn't, because obviously it's not out yet, but I've watched what they
Yeah.
predict to be the raid fight, and it doesn't seem overtly complex on what you have to do. It does seem like maybe there's a lot of healing intensive, because there's a lot of bombs.
But we have goated healers though,
Yeah.
so it should be good.
So I think we're going to be in. I'd say if we even hit 80, I'd be surprised.
Oh, so I should lower
Yeah.
mine. I'm gonna stick with
I'm-
90 because
I'm
I can
sticking-
push it if I have to.
I'm sticking with 107 because I assume that there's going to be some sort of personal accountability action that our
Ugh.
DPS folks have issues with, whether it be moving bombs out or doing something weird. I feel like that's what gets us until all the DPS can get it down. But and the only thing different in this raid tier is we don't have technique tanking, so it's me and Cal, I think.
I'm excited to have
So-
Cal in. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been taking a break, so and so we're gonna double Blood Death Knight raid
That won't
tank.
matter for us,
So
that'll be fine.
it won't matter because it's fine. But
Give the healers
Heroic,
something to
and
do.
You guys are both good enough tanks. You'll be fine.
yeah, but I think it's gonna be all about the personal accountability of the DPS. No offense to any of the DPS, but
None taken.
He's
I understand.
referring to me because I'm the one that always would take on the accountability. But I'd like to point
Well,
out that me and Zesty were pretty darn good after a couple pulls on how to do the spiderweb thing in council.
yeah, it's like the
Yeah.
spider web thing. Like how long is it going to take us to figure something? Figure something like that out before, is it's probably going to be like 107 pulls.
No.
Yeah, but they also adjusted that. They also adjusted that boss halfway through when we were progging on it to make it easier. So you got to
not
think about that.
halfway. No, was it?
Part the way through, yeah, they got rid of one of the circles,
Oh
like
no, at the
literally
very
during
end.
the
They got
prog.
it at the end. Yeah.
Before we
you only-
finished it, though.
No, I'm talking about are you talking about the council fight with the spider webs, or are you
No,
talking about?
no. I'm talking about in Ansarek. There was a weird lineup of 2 mechanics because there were like 2
We had already cleared it by
circles.
then. We already cleared it by then.
No, I don't think we had.
Yeah, it was the week
I might be
after we cleared
wrong.
it. It was the week after we cleared it that they did it.
Are you
When
sure?
when we pulled everyone back in, I think was when that was happening. But we
Yeah.
cleared it right before the
Maybe you're right. It's been a long time since we raided.
Because we were
which
getting
is
that dance done. We were getting that dance
yeah.
done by the time that thing happened. Anyways, it was more of like what happens upstairs that we were struggling with at that point. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's put a
tie it
bow on
up,
this.
please.
One of our shorter episodes.
2
Right?
hours.
Any last
I can
words?
see
Any
the clock.
final thoughts? Anything that's not WoW related you guys want to share? I ask you.
Fuck no.
We tried out Fellowship. That was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
fun.
shit, we didn't even talk about that. Okay, quickly, Fellowship. That's the question of the week.
Quickly, for the love of
Fellowship,
God.
do you recommend it? For the love of God, we're in a short episode right now.
Yeah, I would recommend everyone try the demo. I think if anything, you'll at least get a feel for if you think you're going to be interested in it going forward.
Were you interested in it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I would be down for us to do some more of it. Unfortunately, it just happened to coincide with the patch release and now the season next week. I'm gonna try to play a bit over the weekend. So
and the season 1 debauchery at the end of the.
Yep, I'm gonna try to play a bit more over the weekend to maybe formulate some more thoughts when we can maybe do the bigger dungeon. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Okay. Scrap, you
If
said
my
fuck Loki, you haven't
friends,
even played Lithium.
yeah, she's not
Oh,
playing.
I don't have much interest in it, I guess. I
No.
already have a game with Mythic Plus in it.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
it looks nice. I know Technique was shitting on the graphics. I think the graphics look really lovely.
the graphics are fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the style. It's pretty. The characters look nice, but I don't have a desire for this.
If my friends play it, I'll play it, but I wouldn't go out and buy it or pick it up unless everyone else did and they were actually playing it.
We should also note it's in beta or alpha or something.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be.
It's
not fully cooked yet.
No,
so it might get better.
It probably will get better. And it's not bad. If you enjoy that aspect of World of Warcraft, then you'll enjoy Fellowship. But it's just I feel like it's a lot of repetition, and I don't know how they're gonna spice it up. I also don't know if there's gonna be an actual story. I don't know if there's gonna be some character development. And I haven't watched all the videos and all the things that are out there about it. I played it with the group, so.
Yeah, we did. Just so for context, we did 5 dungeons.
Yeah.
All of them were single boss dungeons. Apparently, those are called adventures, I should say. Dungeons are 3 boss encounters, which should last about 25 to 35 minutes. My opinion is, I don't like it. It's a perfectly serviceable game, but all it felt to me was playing classic WoW with an M+ structure. The gameplay was slow. I played the Mage and I played not with y'all, but I did it later. The Warrior, the DPS Warrior.
Yep.
And it just didn't feel exciting, and all I wanted to do while I was playing it was play more M+. I just wanted to get back and get on my Archmage or my Enhancement Shaman. Now I haven't done any tanking or healing. I've heard good things about healing. And I ask you, I don't even think you played the class that everyone says is really good, which is the Druid class, the one that has like.
I played one with it when we were done with the 0 with no alt. And yeah, I mean, I enjoyed how it played. That seemed like that one would be a lot of fun. I also enjoyed the priest one too. That one got better once you unlocked more abilities. I think so I'd be interested to see how they both feel when you get to a point when you have most of the kit unlocked to see just how they play. But yeah, healing I think feels particularly fun in that because it's a little bit more interesting than Mythic Plus, where it's just a lot of really high damage that you're preparing for. This, since you don't really know the dungeons that well, you're not really prepared. You're just seeing health bars move, so you're kind of just reacting to it more. That's a little bit more interesting to me. But I could see where, as a DPS, especially early on, it would be really boring to try to grind but I think healing is fun in it at least.
And the thing is that's strange about it is that it's the tanks and the healers who are having to wait for DPS to queue. Because that's what
Yeah.
I've been seeing collectively is everyone's like, well, this is a good problem to have, but I mean, is it really? Because it just means that the DPS are boring.
Yeah, nah.
Um,
Maybe if they have more characters too,
yes, and they
people
will, they
can
will.
find stuff they
Yeah.
enjoy playing more. But yeah,
But
it still has some work to do. But
that's the problem is like for me, DPS, it doesn't necessarily need to be fast paced or anything like that, but it just needs to feel like I'm like weaving between a flow of spells. And it
Mhm.
definitely didn't feel that way for both of the DPS that are in there for me at least. You know, like I know that we didn't give it the full uh fair chance because like I think people are doing 10 plus 10 dungeons on it, and there might be a ton of we barely unlocked the talent tree and yada yada yada. But I can't see a world where the gameplay gets significantly better than what it currently was. Enough for me to again, every time I was doing it, I was just saying like I'd just rather go play M plus. And this was before we even saw how crazy things got with because this came out Monday night, so we did it Monday
Or
night.
the motivation of the points.
No, because there's a and look, to give the game credit, two things it does well. It has a very clean system of like, okay, here's how the key upgrades, here are the affixes and all that stuff. And then of course the gear system for the most part was pretty straightforward, and I would see people liking that because I don't think they have stat sticks or sorry, secondary stats. And of course not like trinkets that, I have to farm this best trinket kind of thing. Maybe they do, I just didn't see that. What I will give the game the most credit where I said, okay, they're doing this and doing it really well was the way the bosses worked and how they not only telegraphed things, but like, we did one boss where you had to like chain yourself to a post while she pulled you
yeah,
in. That was good, but even then that was still very slow paced, it felt like. And that just might be a
Mhm.
result of again, we're playing the equivalent of plus twos, whatever they were. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed, and I to play the other DPS spec, I had to kind of like purposely drag myself back into it just to say, like, come on, give it another chance, which is not necessarily a good sign. I feel like I should be super, like PoE 2 comes out, I'm like super excited. I want to get back in. I want to get back in. I want to get in. That's not how I felt with this.
Mm.
So it's a shame.
We'll
Yeah.
have to see.
Yeah, and again, there's still a lot of cooking they have left to do, so I obviously will continue to keep my eye on it and continue to try to play it. But I'm interested to see that, Ioski especially, you said you kept going after we all went to bed and stuff, and it's like that's good, but that's not how I felt. All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. Well, that's episode 40, and next week we'll revisit Meta and see how that's shaping up. As you can expect, Aug will plummet to its death. We'll talk
Oh,
about the new
no.
dungeons. I can't wait to see Theater of Pain redone. I keep
We're gonna have a
forgetting.
lot to talk about next week.
I can't. I don't even. I keep forgetting Mechagons even in the dungeon pool.
Yeah.
Motherload. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, me too.
lots of good things. We might actually what we might need to do is split the episode into two parts and do maybe like the War Within Dungeons versus the remastered.
I
dungeons.
wonder, this is a little behind the curtain, but maybe we should film the episode on Friday instead so that we have time to actually try everything, because I think by Wednesday we won't have much time.
Yeah.
So the only problem
Hmm?
is this: my birthday is on Saturday next week.
Oh, we'll do
Oh.
it on your birthday. That's
Well,
way
no,
easier.
here's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I'm going up to Cherokee to do a little golf and gambling. And
Okay.
I will obviously edit everything before I leave and set it to post while I'm away. So
Yeah.
if you make me record on a Friday night, not only will I have
But
to
we're gonna raid Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So that
So
yeah, again, behind the curtain stuff, we need to figure that out anyways, because
we'll figure it out.
Lithium doesn't like doing things on Wednesdays. So all right, anyways, let's get out of here. I can always express my gratitude for everyone that watches. We appreciate you. I feel like I need to do a better job of saying like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff, because even though we're not a monetized channel, I think we want to try to continue to build the brand of what we're trying to do here, which is represent ultimately, even though we're playing the 0.1% now with this score system, we want to represent everyone. So please continue to show us the love that you guys already do, and we appreciate you very much.
We really do enjoy reading the
Oh my
comments,
God,
and
it's so much
we'll
fun.
share them with each other, and it's
Especially
a lot of
when
fun.
you drag us through the dirt. It's fun.
Yeah. Get in arguments. It's fun.
That's episode 40, y'all. Thank you very much. We love you. See you later.
Peace.
Good night.
Bye.